Spoon to get your information. Total Spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening in Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Funjama, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat keep on granting my brother, to spoon. You got a Spoon TV, you got a Spoon Radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, 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 kilibamba. What I want? This one you got today. Spoon TV. This one you got today. Listen. Spoon TV. Spoon. Bala. Skiddy dabado. Spoon TV. Spoon entertainment. Kua. Let's kua today. Kua. On the spoon, to get your information. On the spoon, to be part of Spoon television.
Yes, sir. A special one from the CEO, Stan Connor with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the South Man. Charges on the beat.
On the spoon, to get your information. On the spoon, to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station.
Well, folks, welcome. Wherever and however you listening to us, this is Spoon Talk. As a matter of fact, it is the biggest thing that takes place on radio, online. Yes, we are live on Fabric 101.1 FM. That's Spoon 107.5 FM. We are also live on Super 95.5 FM. And then we're live on Spoon TV, Super TV, Spoon Talk, and also live on YouTube. You can find us just everywhere. My name is Aaron Kuban, and it's a pleasure being here on this edition of the program. Dr. Richardson and James Kude Flomo are on the other side. Let me say welcome, and it's great to be here this evening.
Aaron, and good day. Hello, how you doing?
Yeah, good evening.
I just heard echo.
I thought it came from
better. You. It's better.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, come on in.
That's good. Happy Saturday, to the extent that I can say that, given the circumstances In Liberia, I know many are mourning and grieving with Gloria Musu Scott for the loss of her daughter, and also for the current hospitalization of the other daughter. So I just want to tell you guys in Liberia, your sorry, all right, Spoon Network want to extend their condolence to you, Spoon Talk. Um, so we'll be talking a lot today. We have as our guest today is Jaron Verdier. He was here on our show. So for Liberians, find a friend, share the show. There's going to be a lot of exciting information here today. So I'm going to go to you, Aaron, and also to you, Good Day, to get some trending information in Liberia, what's going on in the country, and then I will turn over to welcome our guests because they are an instrumental part of this show.
Okay, and so the trending news, like you just mentioned, is on the attack against the former um, Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia, former senator, former chair of the National Elections Commission. So everyone is talking about that and the issue about insecurity. But to be more specific, a journalist by the name of Ayuba Sharif, I think that's the last name. He had a press conference today, um, informing the entire country and the world that he received a text message from someone. He's claiming that this person is the name that Councilor Jerome Verda mentioned, one Valley Tally, sent him a text message threatening to make him feed the same pain that others have been feeding if he doesn't, move away from this matter. According to him, this message came to him after he posted and lifted the allegation for Councilor Jerome Verda. And I will send, I think James has a screenshot of that message, or if Jim doesn't, I will send it to him if there's a need for that. In which he threatened to make this journalist fee the same pain that he has made others to fee. It's an allegation. The journalist is claiming that that message came from this Valley Tally that is being mentioned by Councilor Verdia. Another news is that Mayor Jefferson Koji is in Nima County. According to the information, he went there in response to an invitation from the Nima County Students Association. It was I've watched a Photo Spoon TV, and we saw the event. It was a very elaborate event with a lot of students gathering, talking about some of the challenges that they have as students in the county, and they wanted to meet with the mayor and put forth their plot as students of the county. And so the mayor too responded to them and informed them. One of the major things he said, he heralded the issue about peace, that students in that part of the country should be peaceful, young people should be peaceful as they go towards the election. And so he was in the county, but he partly mentioned Councilor Gloria Musu Scott and in the incident that occurred, but it was just intended to ask the people to stand for a moment of silence for the death of this young lady, who was killed in that incident. And so that was the only reason for which he mentioned that there are lots of Liberians that have lost their lives, and there's a need that the people in that hall stand and pay some respect to them. And so that was the only point at which he mentioned that. Another news here, we know that the census took place, and the census, the result came out. There have been controversies surrounding the number that came out. Some counties are claiming that there should be more than one, the number that that was given to them. So the Senate Pro Tem Albert Chie, he has constituted an ad hoc committee to work with the House of Representatives to, according to them, to determine whether or not the recent population census can be applicable for the 2022 presidential and legislative elections. As we know, the Constitution provides that after a census, a new threshold should be set up, and then based on the number, new districts shall be formed. And so, and whether or not this can be applicable now in this case, especially with the census delaying all this time, whether it is possible they can do counting of new establishment of new districts. So the Senate and the House of Representatives they are going to work and come up with a conclusion whether there should be new districts set up after the day they say. But I know the Constitution says that. So why there should be
you yourself laughing with
it? Why there should be a working committee to come out to decide whether this is applicable or not when the Constitution does say that. So that's some of the trending news. There are lots of things that are happening, but those are the things we can just pick amongst.
Sure. I want to thank you, Aaron, and your colleagues for putting the trending news together for Liberia to be aware of what is happening in the country. So thank you very much for a job well done. James, good day. Would you like to add anything and expand?
Basically, we go back to Nimba. Mayor Koji is trying to, become the face of Nimba. I don't know how that is going to happen, but we saw a handful of group calling themselves the elders of Nimba, and okay, a handful of group calling themselves the elders of Nimba County, and they went there. I know it is campaign time. I think you can still remember the last time what's his name? I think he said he's the chief advisor or whatever to the elder council of Nimba County. Aaron, what's the old man name from Nimba County? Who is the rival to Senator Prince Johnson?
Senator Prince Johnson is trying to contest. I'll get the name, but it slipped off my mind.
Yeah.
I know that
he's the rival to Senator Prince Johnson. Today he welcomed Koji in Nimba, turned over the city key to Koji. That is the key of Nimba to Koji. And he said Nimba belongs to Koji. Zoe. Okay, Zoe. His name is Zoe. Today, Zoe and his team, according to them, Koji is the owner of Nimba County, and they will deliver Nimba to Koji. So they presented the key, the city key or the county key to Koji, that he should turn it over to the president. But what surprised me was when they got out. I thought it was a very large event, but when it got out, I saw that it was just meant to rap. In Liberia, when we say rap, that is just to talk, to give you street talk and eat your money. To just
to pacify you, yes.
Yeah, to just rap Koji or to rap the CDC administration and get something from them. When it got out completely, it was a disaster. We did not see that crowd that we expected. Nimba County, the population, and the elders of the county coming to welcome you or to turn over the county to you. Nothing we saw there. It was just like a so-called event. But the students' event was great, and the elders, their event damaged the entire process, and at the end they had to rush. I saw them running. I know they were embarrassed because the camera was on, but Pazawe did not organize his event good today. Yeah. And another one is our colleagues in Nigeria. They are going through their election, and I'm really, really getting something new from the young people there. We saw similar thing like that in Monrovia or Macerata County during the 2020 senatorial election. The guys are still at the various polling stations to protect their votes, and celebrities are into it. P Square, Mr. P of P Square, Peter of P Square, I think he's Paul, if I miss his name. All of them, they are to the polling stations protecting their
Hey,
votes.
Ordinary, don't you know two guys? Which one are Peter? Which one is Paul?
That they will not go home. The one with the low haircut, that they will not go home. They will stay there until the votes are counted. And everywhere across the entire country, young people are standing at the various polling stations, right, right to where the election workers are telling them that we will hear you upload the votes on the website, and that is going on throughout the country. There were some minor isolated violence that took place today, and some places the fire gone, but at the end of the day, the government was able to put them under control. About 2 or 3 states, they are expected to go to election next month because there were some errors. Some places they don't have one of the presidential candidates logos on the ballot, and some representatives or senators were not on the ballot. So due to those mistakes, they had to cancel and research it. And the most important part, we are represented there. Our elections commission chair is there today. When they had the second press briefing, she was there, and the Nigerian Election Commission chair recognized her. Almost all of the countries in Africa or West Africa that are expected to go to the polls in the coming months, they are all present in Nigeria, and I think it's a way opening for all of us. And she's there to watch the event and learn from them, so we all can come together and work it out.
Yeah, so good day. I'm sure you are following the election events in Nigeria, and will keep us posted. I'm looking forward to hearing more about, what is going on there and the elections. All right. So thank you for sharing the news. I want to welcome Al Hassan Fadiga. Why you dropped the Fadiga over there today?
Thank you. Is my audio clear and the video looking clear today?
Yeah, the picture is a little bit blurred, but it's clear now. I don't know. It keeps switching on me. Maybe it's my system, but I will see. But you're clear. I can hear you. Huh?
I'm experiencing that too as well.
Okay, yes. It's the visual.
Yeah, I'm seeing you blurry too and coming up. So it's the network.
Okay, that's so good. So I want to welcome Fadiga to the program. I want to tell you, James Goode, thank you as well for your contribution to the news, the trending news in Liberia. Today, we're going to bring you information from our guest speaker here. Our guest today is Jeroen Verdier. He's no stranger to Liberia. As you probably know, Councillor Verdier is a leading human rights activist. He's also an environmental lawyer. In 2006, he was selected to chair the TRC committee, the Truth and Reconciliation Committee in Liberia. So he's going to be visiting us today to follow up on the allegation that he made when he mentioned a specific employee at Monrovia City Corporation is liable for the death of Gloria Mususka's daughter. That was the allegation that he made here. So he's going to come back and expand on that. I'd like to know more about it. I'm also concerned what you just said, Aaron, about this threat that the journalist got. I know women are also being threatened. I'm hearing news of a female journalist who's been reporting on the story. She's also reporting. I don't know if that's the same journalist that we're talking about, Aaron.
Different one.
Okay, so now we have even now a female journalist. Okay, I'm concerned about a male journalist as well. Don't get me wrong here, but when we hear that, we've been reporting, James, why are you laughing? Why you got that smirk on your face? Because I'm going to talk about it, right? But when we hear that women are being threatened, bullied, they're being blackmailed because of their position, because they are speaking out against election violence, because they are speaking out against violence against women, because they're in this political space, we're gonna continue talking about it. We are not gonna be silent about it. Okay. So I'm gonna welcome my audience to the show. Please share the show. It's gonna be a lot of conversation going on today that is pertinent to the up movement of our country, knowing about the security of our country, knowing about what is happening in our country, about the death of Gloria Mususka may be affecting her. You might see it as it affects her, but it could have been you as well. It could have been you, Liberian, as well. So I'm going to turn over and welcome our audience to Liberia's network. This is your network. I want you, Liberians, to participate in the conversation here. You can do so by joining us in the comment section. You can say whatever you want to say, because to me, respect is relative. So you want to talk however one you want to bring express yourself. There was a song in America when I was growing up. Well, not growing, I was eligible to listen to that song, but it's called Express Yourself. So feel free to express yourself. It doesn't bother me at all. I read it and I listen to it. It's what the discourse is all about. So I'm not starting any particular order. So please don't accuse me of just selecting a group of people. So I'm going to start by bringing in Josephine B. Wilson Bura. She's calling me the 6 o'clock woman already. She says no leaving at 6 o'clock today. Henry Thomas is also here from District 3. He's from Woodcamp, District 3. Clinton Zaza is here. Thank you for joining us. Jerry Jeremy is also here. They all are telling me I shouldn't stop at 6 o'clock today. Ambassador Jeroen. Jesus, my thing is going so fast. Okay. Michael Think Positive Bender is here. I'm going to switch actually to somewhere another. Okay. Prince Doris Smith is also here. Charles Chuku is here. Christina King is here watching us. Pearl Campbell is from Fayetteville, Georgia. She's watching us. Gus Garaba Siaway is watching us from Turkey. He's from Cyprus. Prince H. Gibson is from Jacobtown. He's watching us as well. Musu Kuli from, he's watching us. Let me see. Emmanuel Tolion is watching us. Thomas K. Jabba is from Duazon. Duazon, all of you in Duazon, is an up and becoming area in Liberia, or maybe it has been. But when I was there, it just seems like a lot of people are building in that area. So if you're in Duazon, welcome. Join the Spoon Network. Come and listen. Musa Abdul Aziz is here. Thank you for joining us, Musa. Benjamin Bian is also watching us. Siaka Masale is from Dubai. All of you Liberians who are in Dubai, welcome. Want to welcome you to Spoon Network. Thank you. Te Maskasa is watching us. He said, "Don't rush us today." Dr. Richard said, "I don't be rushing you guys, man. I beg you." Fred Denise Nangbe is watching from Empire State, New York. James Halawanga is watching. James K. Kamara is watching. James Woods is watching from the USA. Charles B. Gray is watching from Kakata. Mayor Otenso Dundu is watching. Morris Murphy is watching. This is going so fast, which means to me a lot of people are joining the show, so I'm not upset at all. I'm going to just read as I can. Richard Cully is watching. Sekou S. Saw is watching. Samuel Tarnu is watching from Habel Firestone. If you are in Habel Firestone, please join the show, call a friend, listen to the show together, discuss the matter, share the show as we're beginning to start the show. Joseph Gobla is watching from Police Academy Community. Honorable Prince V. Mason is watching. Sonny Gibson is watching from Painesville, Joe Bar. It's so interesting. Sometimes we will call places Painesville, Joe Bar. They got another Joe Bar, right? And that's what they call Painesville, Joe Bar. And what the other Joe Bar they got it? And that old Joe Bar. Oh, right? Yeah. So they got two Joe Bar there. Fode Bier is watching from the township of West Point. He says, oh, West Point is a township. Thank you for letting us know that information. The township of West Point. Vera S. Wallace is watching. Thank you for joining us, Vera. Oliver F. Pay is watching from Plebo, Maryland. Plebo, Maryland. We got Maryland Liberians in Maryland who are here watching. Thank you very much. Leroy is watching us. Leroy Johnson from Morovia. Otello DeBalls is watching. Wesley Kowa from Bopolu. Bobolu he's watching from Bobolu. Thank you. If you're in Bobolu, thank you for watching us. Come and join us. Erasmo Zobe is watching from Pennsylvania. Ralph Martin is watching. Fafali Sherry from Dole Community. Fafali Sherry from Dole Community, will you watching? Thank you for joining us. Josh Nimlin is watching from Miami, Liberia. Miami, we got Miami, Liberia in the house. Thank you for joining us. Erasmo CM Jama is watching us. Thank you for joining us, Erasmo. Patriotic Liberian, thank you for joining us. I am going to stop right here as Mr. Fagon says. I'd like to welcome my cousin from India, my sister from UAE, other people, all the Liberians. I always like to welcome you. So I want to welcome all of you. If I didn't even call your name, thank you for joining the network. I'm sure now that I've welcomed you, my fellow panelists, Mr. Fagon is going to now roll in because I'm done. I see Gifty Yeni from the Rwanda. Rwanda is watching us. I just like how we travel vicariously through Spoon as well. Even though you get news, this is your station, you get news from here, but you get to travel and learn where Liberians are residing. All right, so we're gonna go with our opening remarks, opening comment. I'm just going on with my show. We'll go with our show here. Liberian people go on with your show here, okay? The other people will join us. I like to start with opening thoughts. Fariga, you got any opening comments, and then we'll go to James Goodday and Era.
Not much. I mean, I'm just glad to be back. Happy with what you are doing. Thankful for keeping the touch alive. And this is needed. I will look forward to engaging our people today and providing more information as the show go on. So I don't want to jump ahead of myself because when I start talking, I won't stop. So
okay,
I'll just wait for the other panelists. But I'm glad to be here. And yeah, thanks to the audience for watching. I see the comment moving so fast, I can't even keep up with them. I'm like, wow.
Me too. Me too. So that's good news for us. That means, yeah. When I call names and says the show is going to be heavy tonight.
They are paying attention, you know.
Yes, which is good. We need Liberians to pay attention. We all need to be very, very well informed about what's going on in our country. But Fadiga, I want to also publicly tell you thank you. I know you are busy. You have been traveling and you made way to be here. So I know, traveling is these days. You got to take out your shoes and do all of that at the airport and get yourself together, rush back and forth. So, but you made the time to join the show just to provide information to Liberians. Good day, and you have anything else to add to open up with?
Well, nothing much yet because it's about to go down. The only thing I want to say is Liberians, specifically the opposition community, they need to forget about whatever they're doing to follow and learn from what's happening in Nigeria because they are next inland. Yeah.
Thank you. Good day. Thank you. I want to welcome Honorable Fagon. He's looked all dressed up than we usually see him. Maybe when it's time for him to speak, he'll report to us what the attire is about. But let me go to Aaron Kuban while he prepares himself, get himself all choke for the yoke or yoke for the choke. I don't know which one you can say. Kuban, please go ahead. Tell us anything on your mind that you like to talk about as our panelists roll in.
Yeah, nothing much, but as a journalist who would like to be more convinced when someone makes an allegation, I look forward to Councillor Verdier, convincing not just me as a journalist, but the public out there on the allegations, he made, a few nights ago. So that's why I'll be looking out for him to be more convincing, answering those questions that will be asked, more detailed as it relates to the allegations he has made. So I'll be looking forward to that.
Yes, thank you very much. That's a good point that you made. We are looking forward to hearing it. Some evidence. I know sometimes people who are legal minded talk about preponderance of the evidence. Which is when something is more likely to happen than not, versus the probable cause. Which in law they usually look for probable cause. So maybe he's gonna tell us whether it's a preponderance of the evidence or there's probable cause that's have led him to say what he's saying. Honorable Fargon, tell why you all dressed all like this. What's going on?
I even know where to start from.
You speechless? I never heard that one there before for you.
Because I'm overwhelmed with what I know so far, what I have seen so far, and what I have heard so far. The three things: what I know so far, what I have heard so far, and what I have seen with my naked eyes so far. I'm completely overwhelmed. I'll do my best not to be speechless, but like Gloria Musu Scott said today, she's confident that justice will be served. I am also confident that after tonight, justice will be served. And I'm all decked up because history is in the making. By the middle of March, towards the end, as you can see, she said, "My mind is besieged with questions, but God is sure and steadfast. Charles' death shall not be in vain. Of this one point, I am confident." And when I read that today, I knew within myself, given what I know so far, what I have seen so far, and what I have heard so far, that indeed justice will be served no matter what. So today is an important day, and I can say to you on the record that I am totally convinced of what I believe, that indeed she was targeted for assassination, that no matter what bogus thing the government does, the pieces here are too overwhelming for them to even act silly. I think it's about time that Liberians set themselves up for what they are about to see, what they are about to hear, and what they will know tonight as basic facts in this case.
Okay. James, is our guest in the back? Yes?
Yes, he's in the back. He's been here for a while.
Yes. Oh, I'm
You ready?
so sorry.
Well, before you bring him,
Yes.
which one of the Fadiga brothers are the policeman or the one the freelance?
The one hour years. I'm confused. I hope we change it.
Man, the men are identical. You gotta be careful.
You see the difference between us. Mm-hmm. I'm the talker, my brother the writer. So most of the time, you see someone fighting on Facebook, writing is my brother. I do most of the talking. He does the
difference
writing. He loves to write.
That difference there.
You see,
I'm not convinced.
Now, again, convinced nobody.
Do you know that one of them was sitting in the restaurant on a date, the other one chauffeur, the guy got out and ran away? The guy said, "You all want to double yourself?" The man said, "No, we twins." The guy said, "No. I see your bar." At just the beginning of the show, two of them, they are identical. Tell their own brother, can I tell us the actual physical difference? He said the person you see Retty long, and then the person who talking, I would know talking a difference. For you to say I get Fanti Mark, my brother and I get no Mark, you can't tell us a Retty. She's don't ready yet.
I know. So is it okay with you guys, panelists, for us to bring in our guest, Councillor Jerome Verdier? Okay, we're gonna bring in. I didn't hear any opposition to that, so I'm gonna bring in Councillor Jerome Verdier to the show. Please bring him in, please.
Okay, as soon as you get.
So yes, as soon as he gets seated, we'll bring him in. But you guys know the what we're gonna do here today. He's gonna introduce himself. He's gonna tell us again about his work in Liberia. He's gonna tell us about his allegation, and then we're gonna take turns asking questions. 2 questions per panelist. And please, let's respect our time frame here today. 2 minutes for you to ask your question or make a response. Okay, I'm giving you 2 minutes each today. We're gonna try to at least have, given the time, 2 rounds of questioning, and if we have enough time, we will probably go for a third round, maybe 1 question, and then also move on to closing remarks from our panelists. I mean, from our guests, and then reflections by our panelists. And then we're going to have Liberian people join the conversation by way of the phone line, and of course, closing remarks. And the show ends at 6 o'clock today. We have an announcement at 6 o'clock. Welcome, welcome, Councilor Vredia. Everyone is very excited to have you here.
Now you go in 6 o'clock, we stay here.
Please, our councilor, that respect our councilor, please.
Councilor say not go in 6 because the dinner too plenty for the councilor to finish. As in here,
Councilor, who you ain't representing me today, right now? Fagon. So welcome to the show, Councilor Vredia. Thank you for joining us. It's always an honor to have a well-known human rights activist to the show, someone who have done a lot for Liberia. I honor your work for Liberia.
Thank you.
I also want you to please, again, there was an allegation that you made here the last time. We're going to give you the opportunity to clarify, speak more about the allegation. And as you speak, can you please point us to some evidence so we can have some facts and about what you are telling the Liberian people about? So thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. And again, I want
Councilor,
to see how.
Councilor, can you please adjust your camera? At least to come closer to the camera a bit.
I like to relax. You don't want me to be relaxed?
Oh, no. Okay. Go ahead. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. I'm happy to join you all panelists. And before I say anything, I like to give glory and honor to our Lord for his strength, for his preservation, for his knowledge, wisdom, his understanding. He has made this day possible. And as Honorable Fagon said, history is being made. So I'm grateful to be here. I want to recognize my partner in progress, my darling, beautiful wife. She's an advocate. I think she's stronger than I am. She supports everything that I do. She gives me all the support. And she helps to encourage me when I'm weak. She prays with me. She's my prayer partner as well. And I will go further to make comments on 2 things that I heard. Mr. Kuban said, I will come to convince. I'm not here to convince people. People have their own conviction. What we are doing, we are seeking a judicial process. The end of all of this is justice. And eventually, evidence are being preserved for prosecution of perpetrators. There will be justice in Liberia. No doubt about that. And we are just laying the foundation, laying the basis, because our country has gone through a lot. There's a spree of murders that have been going on, and we've been doing our best to investigate all of them. And we have come far. We have come far in investigating most of these crimes. Okay, and what we have started is just the beginning, because we will expound and we will reveal those reports to the Liberian people, so the Liberian people can know the evil-minded people who preside over authority in our country and have no respect for human rights, no respect for the country and its citizens, and they are bastardizing the country and at the same time looting its wealth. I'd like to say hi and welcome Honorable Falcon, who is just going. It's not my point to welcome him, but we will be. Yeah, we will be double down and on the situation with Mr. Vadi Tele. He's not the only killer and murderer in Liberia. The latest information is that Jefferson Koji escorted him last night under the cover of darkness to leave the country, to go into Nimba, to cross through Nimba and leave and abscond from the country. Jefferson Koji is in Nimba County now, I think, and he has done that, taking Valley, escorted Valley out. And the other thing I've heard, the police has arrested about 4 different innocent people who have nothing to do with the crime at the Chief Justice's house. They were nowhere around there when darkness came and the crime was executed. The police has arrested them and they have charged them already with murder, from what I have heard. And when we speak of travesty of justice, that is it. Okay, you don't go after the evidence, you don't go after the proof, but you go after innocent people and you tell the main perpetrator, run away. And you tell the chief conspirator, the head of the conspiracy, who is an authority, you don't go after him, you go after innocent people. But that is Liberia. Today, our discussion will focus on the death of Mr. Innes, Matthew Innes. Matthew Innes died while in service to government. Matthew Innes was an officer at the Central Bank, and he was killed again by Mr. Vadi Tele. That's why I'm bringing it in now. Matthew Innes was a manager at the Central Bank, a deputy director for macrofinance and regulations and supervision at the Central Bank. If our people will recall, there was an issue of missing banknotes in Liberia. And the Liberian government came and said, oh, there were no banknotes missing. And they called Crew to come in. Crew did some findings and told them what to do. And then they said, based upon Crew's finding, they will get $25 million to map up the excess liquidity that had gone into the Liberian market. Where did the excess liquidity come from if the money wasn't stolen? And Mr. Innes played 2 roles as head of that department. When the money was brought into the country, he took delivery and took it to the Central Bank. And he was instructed to take it to other places after it was taken there. But that aside, that's not the reason he was killed. The main reason he was killed had to do with the 25 million. Mr. Tue came up and said he has completed his mapping exercise. And he wanted to infuse the money through an accounting process that we have Mr. Matthew Innes to prepare records and documentation that the money was given to banks and it was infused into the economy through legitimate means. Mr. Matthew Innes said, no, but I haven't seen money. At least if I play a part in receiving the money and distributing it to the banks, then you can come and ask me to do that kind of report. But no, I didn't see the money. I don't know what happened to the money. And you want me to come and make a report that it was infused into the banking system? No, Mr. Tway, I cannot do that. As we all know from the outside, Mr. Tway went about and trying to account, and he was listing ghost names of money changers since he could not get it done through the banking process through Mr. Innes. He came up with a lot of ways in which he thought he could account for that money. But the money did not go through the banking system. So Mr. Tway went and made a report to Mr. Weah, the gangster in chief. We have said in my organization that Liberia is a gangster's paradise. He went to Mr. Weah and said, we are having problem with Mr. Innes. So he agreed with Mr. Tway, finance minister, that he will make another attempt, and if he feels he should go to the bank governor at the time. He was Mr. Petrie.
Nathaniel Petrie.
Nathaniel Petrie. They went to Nathaniel Petrie. Nathaniel Petrie said, well, he's a professional man. It's difficult for me to influence his work. And banking thing is specific. Banking is process. Banking is procedures. It is difficult to rely on the banking process because there should always be proper documentation. However, I work with Innes and I will speak with him, but I cannot promise anything because Mr. Innes is a professional man. Honorable Petrie went to Mr. Innes. Mr. Innes told him, this is the process, this is the procedure, this is where I stop. I cannot violate my ethics. I cannot violate my code of professional conduct. So there's nothing I can do other than making my report as it has been brought to me. Mr. Innes went his way and he was fired from the central bank. Firing by a decision to retire him, and that process went on. Mr. Innes went home and continued to work on his report. Then comes one Mr. Cletus, who works directly in the office of the finance minister, Mr. Tway. Mr. Tway told him, I need you to call Mr. Innes and tell him to come to my place on this date. I need to meet with him. When he leaves his work, let him come. And Mr. Innes, being a professional man, he was doing his report. He didn't want people peeking into his report. So he chose Saturdays to do his work when the office is quiet and nothing is going on and he's not distracted. He will make his review, he will prepare his report. So Cletus, tell Mr. Innes to come at my place when he leaves office. Let him come to my house for a discussion. Meanwhile, the finance minister has a property, a house in Africus. He sent other occupants of the house out, his wife and children. They were having a vacation in Africus. But prior to inviting Mr. Innes to his house, the plan to kill him was hatched. Mr. Valis Taylor was told to come from wherever he was, out of town, at the bunk mines, at the gold mines where he was working, to come in town. Mr. Minister Tway, along with, by the way, this operation, Mr. McGill was left out. because Magee's wife is related to Matthew Innes, Vivian Innes. So he was left out of it because of the connections. So a meeting was held at Mr. Jefferson Koji's office. In that meeting was Jefferson Koji, one Samura Urukoli. He's, I think, a deputy minister also at the Ministry of Finance. And they met with Mr. Koji. The minister gave Mr. Koji $50,000 for the operation to permanently silent Mr. Innes. Mr. Koji took that money, called Valley in town, gave Valley a portion of the money, gave the police director $15,000 of the money so that he can do the cover-up operation when it is done. Meanwhile, the big guys distributed the map-up exercise money between themselves. Mr. George Weah, president. Mr. Samuel Twe, minister. Mr. Jefferson Jefferson Koji, mayor. Mr. Samurai Wurukoli, deputy minister. Mr. Janga Ko, comptroller general. Mr. Trukom Pui, he participated. He got his share of the mapping exercise.
Minister of State without portfolio.
Minister of State without portfolio. Mr. Magee, who was Minister of State proper, they divided the money amongst themselves. And then Koji was given what he needed to carry out the operation and assure that Mr. Innes was silenced for good. Before that happened, Mr. Minister went to the president, like I said before, but the president made an interesting remark that told indirectly or directly, Mr. Minister, you have to take care of this thing permanently. He said, I don't want to hear about this money anymore, this map-up exercise. You have to find a permanent solution to it. I don't want to hear it anymore. And when the minister left, Mr. President, he went straight to Jefferson Koji and they hatched the plan. The police director had his 15,000. So as soon as Mr. Innes got at the minister's residence, he sat down and the minister said, I'm going upstairs. I will see you later. I'm coming back. As soon as the minister left, the assailants got involved. They were waiting to carry on the hit. And they beat on Mr. Matthew Innes, broke some of his bones, crushed his fingers, beat him mercilessly. They beat him. And when he was weak and overpowered, they injected him with some substance to disable him so that he wouldn't be effective. That's the kind of man he is. He was in a position of, in law, we say suspended sanity, suspended animation, where you are not active at all. Then they took him to the death scene. They had, if you listen to the police report at the time, they said he was coming from work 1 o'clock in the morning when he went to work on Saturday. They took him to the death scene and staged an accident. Mr. Vali Tele drove a blue pickup, and that is the pickup. We hope the pictures can be put up. We are looking for the owner of that pickup. From our information, Mr. Tele drove that pickup, but he doesn't own the pickup. We want to know who owned that pickup. And if we don't succeed in getting somebody to come up and own onto it, we will do more and further investigation. So, Mr. Vali Tele and one Mustafa drove the car of Mr. Innis to the scene, and Vali drove the pickup. He was accompanied in the pickup by Mr. Jefferson Koji, and they went to the scene and decided to stage an accident. How was the accident staged? Please, Mr. Keller, not Mr. Keller, please, Mr. Innis at his car, and then the truck will come and hit. Mr. Innis was drowsy. He had lost his composure. He has lost his strength. He was beating. So they could not even get him to stand for even 1 minute. So the pickup was driving at him. By the time the pickup got nearest, it was just a few meters away from his car, he was already dropping. And so the pickup hit the head. That's where he got the blunt injuries to his head. But he was as good as dead by the time he was taken to that scene. And afterwards, and the police director was there. He drove right behind Jefferson Koji and others, having received his $15,000. After the operation, around 1 in the morning, that's how they took upon themselves to take the young man's body to the funeral home. Normally, if somebody is involved in an accident or there is trauma or collision, as they said, he was found on the street, you want to notify family members immediately. But they took upon themselves to take the body to the funeral home. The police director, Jefferson Koji, Vali Tene, and Vali Tene's companion, Mustafa. So the Mustafa Fawaz, by the way, is dead now. But there was another occupant, Sulu Ban, another operative. They all took the body to the funeral home. There is a trend of accident, hit and run, that is running through the modus operandi of this government. When we talk about the other auditor, you understand, you see the same pattern. He was taken to the hospital. They alone, no family members, taken to the hospital. And sometimes these people are still alive, they kill them when they get to the hospital. But that's another story of another auditor that will come alive. And that's how it went with Mr. Matthew Innes. He was killed very terribly. His entire body was beaten up with sticks, with gloves, with everything they could lay their hands on. And then he was put before his car, and Valley Teller was told to come and hit him. These perpetrators are all in our midst. We know them. That's the situation.
Wow. Audience and panelists, you've heard Councillor Verdier tell us about Matthew Innes. Thank you for your narrative, Councillor Verdier. Before I go to you, panelists, for you to ask Councillor Verdier your questions, I want to welcome Honorable Kolubai to the show. He was Councillor Verdier was speaking when he entered the show. James, I want you to please put the sheet up before I go to the questioning portion of the program. I would like for you to please put the sheet up, the charge sheet of those that the government is now charging, although Councillor Verdier just told us there is another person who is responsible, who masterminded the death of Gloria Scott's daughter and the attack of Gloria Scott's family. So please put that charge sheet out, because we're going to have the son of one of the person who has been charged come on to speak to us about his father. I want to read, the Liberians, you need to know, I want to read to you the names.
His father is the main person charged.
Tamba okay, Francis. Is that Tamba Francis? Okay.
Yes, that's his dad and all the other people that are directly under his dad. His dad is the main contractor.
Okay, all right. So the Liberian National Police are charging these men for the attack on Gloria Scott's home and for murder, as you can see here. We have Tamba Francis, a Kisi man. They have him murder. Ezekiel Tamba, a Kisi man. They have murder. Joshua Francis, a Kisi man. They have murder. James Francis, another Kisi man. They have murder. Tamba Francis' son will be calling us later on the show to tell us about his father. Now, these men have been charged with the incident that happened at Gloria Scott's home. And although Councillor Verdier here is telling us no, he does not believe that these men should be charged. He is attributing the murder to another person. I'm going to go ahead and start with you, Mr. Fadiga. What is your two questions? What two questions do you have for Mr. James? You want to tell me something?
I'm welcoming.
Yeah, can I just be the one to introduce Sheikh Sarkor?
Yeah.
Please do that. Yes, please do that. I'm sorry, Fadil. Just give me 1 second before we go to your two questions. Sheikh Sarkor is here. Please go ahead and introduce.
Sheikh Sarkor. Yeah, to help you. Just ask me.
Sheikh Sarkor. Okay.
Sheikh Ibrahim Sarkor is the friend of.
Thank you very much.
President.
Am I on or am I muted?
You are on.
You're on.
All right. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being on your platform. Having appeared on the Costa Show and the Class Reader the other day, where we spoke about Mr. Weah's ingratitude and his indebtedness to some Russians. We decided to take a break of social media so we can be able to channel our grievances to the requisite authority for them to look into it. And then we also decided to stay away where we put in some safety measures. As you all know, in these kind of situations, safety is not an achievement but a priority. And safety is not how you do it or what you do, it's how you do what you do. But I mean, driving on the highway, and then I just started receiving phone calls that, oh, your picture was posted on the Spoon Talk regarding some revelations about the death of Mr. Innis, and also an individual called Tele who was sitting on your vehicle. So I thought it wise to at least take that break off for now, where I can appear on your platform to explain my side of the story. So I made it special being here. I say thank you again for welcoming me on your platform.
Okay, and in case you are just joining us, the pickup you
Father, you are
see.
muted. I don't know, but I can hear you.
I'm not muted, though, unless there's a
I
technical
can hear
problem.
you. I can hear you, Mr. Fagon.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
The pickup you see, I recall 2017 was the lead pickup or the pilot pickup for President Weah's convoy. And I believe that that pickup was donated or borrowed to the CDC by Sheikh Ibrahim Sakor. Based on that, yes, based on that, I invited Mr. Sakor to tell us whether he knows Mr. Tele, whether the pickup in the background is his pickup, to what extent he knows Mr. Teller, and how did the pickup get involved, and how did Teller wind up being deputy to Jefferson Koji. Sheikh, you care to tell us what you know so far?
Thank you. Fagon.
Hello?
We can hear you, but you're very low.
Can you increase your volume?
Yeah. I didn't hear Mr. Fagon's question. His
Okay,
comments.
can you hear me now?
I'm not staying. I can only hear Dr. Richardson, but I can't hear you, Mr. Fagon.
All
You
right, Dr.
hear me?
Richardson, go ahead.
I can hear good day.
Fagon, you gotta
Well,
go on.
Mr. Fagon was asking you to please tell us your knowledge about the pickup. What do you know about this pickup truck?
All right, thank you very much. I mean, like we explained the other time on the other platforms about our involvement with Mr. Weah during the 2017 elections. Apart from money given to Mr. Weah, this was one of our pickups. In fact, the pickups were bought by the Russians representative on the ground, who was Mr. Maclean, to be used for the mining operations. We bought that pickup at $59,000 because they were customized where they had to put the front bumpers and the winch on them. And then immediately we got the pickup, Mr. Weah also requested that to give him the pickup so it can be used as the lead pickup for his campaign. I then turned that pickup over to Mr. Siwa Briggs, who was using that pickup along with their advanced team. After the election, they had the pickup damaged. I went to Mr. Weah, I told Mr. Weah that Mr. Weah, this pickup will have to be fixed because it is not mine, it is for the partners. Mr. Weah, remember he gave me $3,000 at his Baptist seminary to fix the pickup. In as much as the pickup had cost something around $6,000. I fixed the pickup and I personally started using the pickup. And then I remember when I left for the United States, I had packed this pickup. But before I left for the United States, I was handling national security issues in that country, working with the National Security Agency. So it was my responsibility also to make sure that I look at national security threats and find an amicable way to see how best we could resolve it. And one of the issues we came across was when Mr. Weah incorporated all of the former fighters of the MPFL and the model, wherein he brought in the Ofori DR, he brought in General Power and the rest of the other people. There was some little dissatisfactions among members of the Unimo factions. The fact that they are from the Madingo background. I met one of them at the official groundbreaking ceremony of the NSA building, who was Abib Jomande. Jomande called me on the side. He said, "Oh, Sheikh, I mean, it's fine that I met you. I've been trying to talk to you or talk to anyone that be able to talk to the government. You guys have forgotten about us completely. They're only concentrating on the rest of the other guys, and Madame Seli did not do that. Madame Seli did a lot of things to maintain the peace in this country. We do agree that we don't have the establishment of the war in the crime code, but Madame Seli did something at least to provide a disposable income for us at the end of the month. And that was based upon that we were living, feeding ourselves, and taking care of our family. But now we see Mr. Mr. Weir is only concentrating on people from the MPFL and Model. So I said, okay, not a problem. I said I will speak with Mr. Koji because Koji so far is the only person that is closer to me in this entire government. All the rest of the other guys don't want to affiliate with me on grounds that, oh, Mr. Weir and I having an issue. So I met Mr. Koji. I said, Mr. Koji, this should be a national security concern. We got the former fighters. They don't have anything to feed their families like how Madam Salif took care of them. She did not give them jobs in terms of the security sector. Only a few of them were professional. I said, but leave the guys moving all around in the street without providing something for them. Anybody can probably use them to achieve some, dangerous motives. So Koji said, well, that's a problem. But then you call upon these guys. So I told Mr. Jumande, I said, Jumande, who are your former fighters? Call, let's have a meeting and we'll see how best you guys challenge your grievances. Yeah.
Yeah, the radio, they are saying, Sheikh, you coming on by, you going through the radio very bad. So will you log out and log back in? You are not very clear on the radio.
His
Yeah,
hearing.
the guys in studios just
All
informed
right,
me.
let me.
Yeah, just log out and log back in. Okay.
Okay.
So Dr. Richard saying,
Yes, please come
what
in.
Sheikh is saying is true. That pickup was being used by the Sabato, the Logan Davis, and no other guys they're talking about in the advanced team. That pickup.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes. And Ophoria. They also had a Nissan Jeep, wet Nissan Jeep. And that Jeep always used to escort Mange, or Minister of State wet Jeep. They used to have Ophoria and all those ex-general in it. Like they Luton Accord said General Power. All of them used to be in that Jeep escorting Mange. And few of them stay with Mange.
All right, Sheikh. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So right away, Habib Jomande had his friends come at Koji's office. And these were their proposals. So I asked them a question. I said, gentlemen, welcome. I met the Valley talent who I met way back in Lofa Kande who has saved me. So I said, my man, Honorable Valley, I've been looking for you, man. Where you been? He said, my man, he doesn't want to speak good English. He said, it's a brother now that I play where I live in. I can be 1 month. This was exactly what he said. I said, I'm happy to see you. And I'm always grateful that the fact that you saved my life in Lofa Kande. So we talked about it. We had a meeting with Koji. They had a meeting with Koji. These were their proposals. They said, Koji, we have a land somewhere in the Todi area. We just want to do a proposal so the government can help us cultivate the land. We want to go into farming. Some of our people here who are educated, like Habib Jomande, if you can find a job in government where they can be at least earning something, they do it. We had an agreement. Koji gave them the money to get an office. They named the organization the UBA, the United Barons Association. But their plan was they should make sure that Koji gave them at least a time with the government or the agriculture ministry so that they can be able to cultivate their land and get into agriculture. So right away, I told Valley, I said, Valley, but what you do for a living? He said, oh, right now, I'm not doing anything. I said, but wouldn't you mind to go at one of my mining sites in Todi area where you definitely going to be working on the machines with my little brothers and be earning something? He said, well, that would be fine. He said, I would love doing that. Right away, I called my little brother, Ibrahim Sako. I said, listen, I'm going to send somebody to help you guys mine in Todi. At that time, we were doing the dredge mining on the Simple River. Valley went there, he joined them. They were working, having everything going fine. So my little brother started having problem with Valley. He called me and said, Valley is too authoritative. I said, okay, what you do? Give Valley one of the machines. Let he alone. I said, because this young man saved my life in Lofa Kande during the Unimo War. So I believe that I should just be able to give him a compensation. I gave him a job to understand where he can be able to find something for his family. The Peking gave Valley the machine. Valley was operating the machine. Right away, in time, the government came up with some restrictions on the mining on the Simple River. And then, unfortunately for me, the Ministry of Mines channeled their issues in through the Dawn Security to form a team to get everybody off the Simple River. And when it came out the NSA, the late JB called me. He said, Sheikh, you are already into this field of mining. And we got an operation to clear everybody off the mines. So I said, okay. I said, that's not a problem. I said, then let the police guys who will be joining up for the operation, they come over. Some officers came, we started the operation. But before the operation, I called my little brother. I said, Ibrahim, this is a situation. I can't be executing the law and be breaking the law. This is what it is. You guys will have to leave from that place. Ibrahim said, not a problem. I'm going to pack some of the machines and I will rather than go to Sierra Leone to work. I said, no problem. Ibrahim packed the 2 machines, my little brother. He left. Valley was still there. He called me one other time and said, Valley, you have to leave from over there. If anybody arrests you, do not call me. Or if myself see you there, I will arrest you. We laugh over it. Valley said, okay, he took the machine from there. He said he was going to do some money. But before that time, Nanui Valley used to talk to Koji. He didn't tell me, I didn't know anything about it. Exactly, that's right. The picture you're seeing over there is at the Simple River. That was when Valley was working on one of my machines. And he was managing that machine as a person. Nobody was not auditing him, not at all. That was the help I could give him as a person. So later on, Valley said he's taking the machine to do sand mining in Nimba County because the people who were building the road, the Chinese people, they needed sand. I said, Valley, not a problem. I sent Valley money. Valley took the machine to do the sand mining. Valley mined sand. Later on, Valley stopped talking to me. So I got angry. I said, but Valley, you can't carry the machine. You say you're doing sand mining. You can't send me money. I don't hear anything from you. He said, oh, the tiny people ain't buying the sand. But I decided to go into diamond mining. I said, well, that was not a problem. If you want to go into diamond mining, I don't have a problem with it. Let me know. Let's go to the rightful channel so you can mine. I sent money to Valley. Valley started mining at the Jacklang village, somebody in Makani. Valley and I, we have some very good relationship in terms of the work and things until I left. I came to the United States. When I came to the United States, I called Valley certain time. I said, Valley, I said, how's the work going on? He said the work is going on fine. Valley kept sending me pictures of the mines. He sent me diamond pictures. He said, boss man, we want close to the water. Yeah, that's exactly how he speaks. He said, boss man, we want close to the water. I want lucky the whole water so we can get more gravel. I said, okay, if that's the case, Valley, I don't want you guys using the shaker. Then I will then buy at least this man-made washing plant in Sierra Leone, which is set at $50,000 to $18,000. I will buy 2. Because when you guys have the mines and you tie the water, I will send an excavator. I will excavate the gravel so that we can then have a washing plant. Valley and I went through all of those processes and things. At a certain time, that's why what shocked me is that Valley I come to town. And then Koji asked me to use my pickup. He said, Comrade, where's your pickup? By the time, he's just the only man I had a relationship with in government. Everybody knows. And I said, oh, but the pickup is parking. He said, man, I want to use your pickup. I said, but send Valley. Let Valley pick up the pickup because Valley is in town. Valley will drop the pickup over to you. He said, yeah, but the man said with me here. I said, okay, not a problem. So Valley took the pickup. 2-3 days later on, Valley called me. He said, oh, your pickup, man, your pickup spoiled. I said, what is spoiled my pickup, Valley? I said, that pickup doesn't have any problem. My pickup was parked in the yard. I said, you went and took the pickup. I said, since I came to the U.S., I packed that pickup. I didn't even allow anybody to use that pickup. How you will call me, tell me say something happened to my pickup? He said, boss, man, that water entered the engine. So I decided to do like a little investigation. I said, okay, what you do, you pack the pickup, take the pickup to Prestige Motor. They took the pickup to Prestige Motor. After a week, Valley gave me a call. He said, boss, man, I will man, Koti sent me to Sierra Leone. From there, he bought one new motor boy. He gave me the motor boy, but he said, I will not tell you. So this was my words to Valley. I said, Valley, I don't know what you and Koji on. That's Valley right in front of my house there when he was working for me. I said, Valley, I don't know what you and Koji on, but this is my advice to you. I'm only trying to help you so that at least the assistance you gave me, because had it not been you, I would not have been a survivor today. The life I can give you is a life outside of any other thing than giving you a life where you will work and make your own money. Whatsoever thing you will with Koji, I just advising you, do not join anything or allowing anybody to manipulate you. Hey, boss man, I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid. We had that conversation that was done with him. Valley went back to the bush. 1 month, Valley called me. Oh, he needed a skill after he was getting few diamonds. I said, all right, Valley. I sent Valley to town. I said, when you get to town, call me. I said, I will send you to a friend who got Yams diamonds. on Randall Street. That's one of my colleagues. We all had our offices just opposite each other. They call him Alpha Mara. I said, go to Alpha Mara. I call Alpha already. I said, Alpha should give you one skill and a loop. That was when Valley went to town. Valley went, he got the skill and the loop. After setting time, Valley just stopped communicating with me. When I called Valley, Valley can pick up the phone. And I never had no other communication with anybody to the new place he was. The first thing is that I called Valley, Valley didn't pick. I decided to call Koji. Koji didn't pick my call. I decided to do an investigation. Somebody called me, they said, but you don't know, say Valley working already to MCC or whatever, Valley working with Koji. So I said, wow, Valley is supposed to report the diamonds to me. I already bought the washing planes in Guinea that are supposed to send, that I'm in Sierra Leone that are supposed to bring for Valley to start operation. Valley has been 6 months, Valley is not talking to me, he's not calling me, only the year that Valley is working with Koji. I placed a call again to Koji. But before that time, I was calling Koji back and back, telling him that Koji, my pickup is a prestige model. I went as far as even sending Koji's Josh Ada's number. I said, Koji, speak to Mr. Haddad to see how best Mr. Haddad can fix my pickup. Koji said, oh, I'll call him, man, I'll call him, man, I'll call him. And so I left from a month, Koji man said, that all, I have been on the minute media to damage it, but one day you will know. So I'll be like, no what? Is it because that's the only thing that's existing now that when CDCCA, they can have memories of being that, oh, this is Sheik's property, so they want to destroy it? I started having different thoughts. So, only for me to call Valley, Valley can pick my call after he left the mine. He abandoned the whole mines, abandoned everything, the thing I'm telling you. I played Valley complain to the members of the UBA, United Brothers Association, the same organization. The people intervene. When they intervene, they call Valley. They say, but Valley, how can you behave like that? Somebody try to give you a life after you've been a former rebel. This man said you help him, and he decided to help you. Why will you leave the man properties in the bush and you come, you're working with City Corporation, the man said when he call you, you can't pick. The people did an investigation. They said, oh, Valley collected my share of the diamonds from the people who got the mines, from the bush owner and everything, because we got a percentage that will always outline. So right away, I call Koji back. When I call Koji, Koji not pick up my call. Right there, I sent Koji a voice message. You getting me? On August the 2nd last year. And if you got anybody, I mean, let me send you the voice message. I mean, if I want to send you the voice message, I want you to play that voice message for me on August 2nd.
I think Good Day has it. Good Day, do you have it? Can you play it?
I can hear you, Fagon.
Message.
Brother, I hope everything is okay. Hey, great. All right. You know, for me, it takes me time to do what I have to do and say what I have to say. I've come this time around to lay Valley Tele complaint to you. But for my investigations, from my assessments, from my intelligence, from whatsoever thing, I know he works with you right now. And you gotta know him through me. Even though you heard about him before, by that time you were maybe very young. I know him more than you. Valley trying to play me. He's not even trying to play me, he played me. For me, I'm a businessman. I'm talking from the business perspective. I'm not speaking for any other different thing, but from the business perspective. Where we put our money is where we depend on for survival. I've been through shit in Liberia. That was done. I'm back here. I still try to invest my little 1 or 2 cents somewhere where at least I can be able to sustain myself and my family. Because I don't hold anybody responsible for whatsoever thing I have done or whatsoever thing I have, mismanaged or whatsoever. I don't care about it. Bro, Valley, first thing, damaged my pickup. I let it go. The next thing, I gave Valley money, gave him a machine to work for me. Valley collected diamonds and stuff. Up to now, Valley haven't given me a cent the diamonds he got from Libra. He left my machine in the bush. I spent money to move the machine. I spent money to operate the mines. I spent money to keep the mines running. Valley did not give me a dare. I don't know where my machines are or where my machine is. He sent me pictures. He sent me everything. 6 months now, I've been trying to communicate.
So I want us to go into
listen. So Dr. Richardson, the reason why we have to play that, because trust me, I mean, with this kind of on revelations, trust me, it's alarming. It is alarming and it's aligning. And it's cooperating also with some investigation that have been carrying on. Now, let me say something on this platform. And I will say this to Mr. Weah or Koji. When I appear on a platform, the good things Koji did, I said it. Koji life is not better than the life of those that have been lost. My life is not better than the life of those that have been lost and will still be, because that's the government that we all looking at. Look, there's a parable my late father used to say in Madingo. With all of these things happening, my late father used to say, Dembaya Bosowati Barase. And my late mom used to say that in Loma also. Family Bugule Zitia. This is the time I think we got to come out to speak more. This is alarming. When I appeared on the Costa show, I said things. I said the government wrote a lot of things against me to get me out of here.
Mr. Sako, I'm going to have to, because of the timing that we have on this show, I want the panelists to come in to ask you some questions. I would like to invite you back on another day where you can explain, the other story to us. It's very interesting. But we want to give our panelists the opportunity to ask you questions. Okay, I'm going to, Councillor Verdier, I'm going to start with you. If you like to ask Mr. Sheikh Sako questions before we let him go, a question before we let him go. Okay, you don't have. Thank you. Honorable Fagon, what question do you have for Mr. Sheikh Sako? We can't hear you, man.
Well, I can't.
You are muted.
A couple of questions. I don't know if you can hear me now. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. I can hear you clearly, Mr. Fagon.
So you are the owner of the blue pickup?
Definitely not a direct owner, but our supervisor in the pickup. The pickup is the owner of the Russians. It's in the Russian company's name, Maxton.
Okay.
But I'm literally the owner. I'm the owner of it, yeah. Because I run the company.
Let's not go to the pickup side, the inner side. Tell us a little bit about Valley. Because the reason why I want you to tell us, Valley is the deputy MCC director for operations. But since the murder of Gloria Musu Scott's daughter, he has not been seen. He did not report to work. And that news was broken here by Jerome Verdier. Straight. They could have called him. Koji had a press conference the next day. Koji could have had him sit next to him. Valley is gone. Who is Valley Telle? We understand. What do you know about Valley Telle? Tell us a little more about him. His wartime story, what you know about him so far.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Fagon. I got to know Valley actually during the Unimo War 1993 in Lofa. There was a time where my late mom sent my little brother and I to go and do farming in a town called Duogomen. Because she said, oh, you guys will not just be in Vujimai and don't learn about farming. But at that time, the war was going. The Unimo eviction had started already in Zozo. So while we were in Duogomen, Unimo managed to have engulfed us into the war in Duogomen. So my mom then took the other family and went back to Guinea in 93. We stayed in the jungle for a very long time. We were running out of food. But then Unimo had established a base in Johnstown under the command shade of Jahannama Platoon. So we started hearing the news from the jungle. They said, oh, they are moving surveillance over there. Because if you stay in the bush, when the rebel meet you here, the Unimo, they will kill you. So that was how I said, well, that maybe in the Madingo, and I can speak it. Let me move there with my little brother. That was how we moved. We came to Johnstown, the house registered. We were living there. Almost all the surveillance were under the command of the Unimo soldiers. We were living there with them. So there was a time they started planning to come to Banga, the Banga mission park. So they started recruiting young men from everywhere. So my mom then was
Mr.
my mom
Sakor,
then yeah.
Mr. Sakor, I'm sorry. I would love to bring you back to continue the show discussing, some of the important issues that about Liberia. Two questions.
Let me just summarize it. Let me just summarize, Mr. Fakon's stuff.
Two questions that I have for you right now, and I think it will highlight Mr. Fakon's question because Councilor Jerome is our guest here today. I really want to respect him and ask him some questions. You, in essence, are telling us the blue pickup is in your name and is your pickup. Was your pickup involved in the killing of Matthew Innes? That's a yes or no question.
I don't have any idea. But what I'm hearing right now, and the fight that my pickup was asked for at that particular time is concerning. And the fight that since they use my pickup, they damage my pickup. And they refuse to fix it. So it's also concerning. So everything being said, what is concerning?
Okay, so you do have some concerns about the use of your pickup.
Definitely, I do have a concern.
Okay.
Can I ask this one question?
And then we actually have to get back to Mr.
Yeah,
Freddie.
because we have to go back. I understand that, but Valley Teller, Madam Moderator, has been linked to 2 murders now.
Correct.
By the same Councilor Jerome Verdier. The man who know Valley Teller the most, who brought him to town, who did everything, should be able to tell us whether Valley Teller is capable of committing such, or give us a character of this individual. Is he as ruthless as we know? Is he capable of doing this? What do we know of Valley Teller? The only man that can tell us about Valley Teller and his capability and what he's capable of doing and how he kept him and everything is the witness right here.
Okay,
so I agree with you. We have to bring him back. But that's why I ask, Valley Teller, what do you know? You worked with the National Security before. You are not just an ordinary businessman. You're also a security guy. You know this guy. You know him very well. That's why I ask, is he capable? Tell us if he's...
Good question, Mr. Fakon. Let's stick to the question.
You can go.
Valley is more than capable. I would say this. You know why I would say this? I witnessed Valley when I was honoring him as a civilian. The fact that the only consideration I had of Valley a little bit was that when they came to get us out of Johnstown, it was only Valley that stood up as a battlefront commander and said, "You're open the people. They will let Mr. Bwaka Sherry take the people to Masanta." Because of that, they did not recruit us to bring us to Banga. But Valley, we witnessed Valley in the World War II, World War III in Liberia. Valley formed the Manos Plus, dust to dust under the command of General Gonda. We were right at Banana Junction. We that live in shoe factory. We saw Valley perform. Valley formed his own group over there. Valley left. Valley was not just an ATU man. Valley was a Malaysian soldier. Valley was then moved over to Sano County. When you hear the people of Sano, they tell you, say, "Oh, we were not here, but we here." That was the talk he carried in Sano. We were not here, but we here. And people know that in Sano. People who were in Sano County at the time, they know. You understand? So the issue of Valley being capable to do something, Valley is...
We can't hear you, Sheikh. We didn't hear your last few words.
Sheikh, you gone low.
We're not hearing you.
We're not hearing you.
Sheikh, are you hearing me? Oh, we lost them.
You gotta come back.
Okay, so Minister Fagon, your question was answered. He said that he is very capable.
He's more than capable, is what he said. And that's why I wanted for him to give us a graphic account, because he knows the guy like the back of his palm. And that would have helped Councilor Verdier a little bit so far. But I think there will come a time he'll come back.
Thank you. I just want, to make sure that Councilor Verdier is here to tell us, his views. I'm going to now go to you guys. Fagon, do you have 2 questions for Councilor Verdier until Sakor comes back? Mr. Sakor comes back.
Well, the first question, Council, is that we know now the owner of the pickup. There's no doubt. You were looking for the owner of the pickup. The owner of the pickup is right here. Now, I would have asked him, but then again, I would have asked him how did the pickup wind up?
He's back.
And who the operators of the pickup were. But I don't know who to place the question to now. So just okay, Shaq. You know that this guy more than capable. You worked with him before. Did you hear about Gloria Scott's operation and the killing of her daughter? And we had a revelation that he was the person that carried out the hit. First and foremost, do you believe he carried out the hit? And have you tried to contact him since? What do you know so far about this Gloria Scott issue and the link to Valley Tele? Can you tell us?
Well, thank you very much, Fagon. Like I said, I've been concentrating on my truck driving here in that much as I followed the news in Liberia. And it was so saddening yesterday to have received the news of another person being killed in a mysterious way. And I first want to use the time to extend my sympathy to the family. I mean, it is just like all the time coming up here discussing the mysterious death of people. This time around, helping to be a young lady. I mean, it's so frustrating. But I think investigators are on the matter and are just listening to Councilor Verdier on doing them some investigative reports. I think they've got enough. The Liberia National Police is there, but trust me, for me, I don't have one trust in them. But I think with the unearthed revelations right now, I mean, we look up to independent investigators to look into the issue. But I think from my own assessment, you can know that indeed it was an assassination attempt. But the fact that Valley was involved, Valley is involved, I think with the evidence Mr. Verdier has on hand, as he explained, would definitely allow him to it if he was the one that did it.
Thank you. Any other person that have question for Mr. Sarkor before he leaves?
Mr. Sarkor.
Mr.
Sarkor, good to see you.
So Fadiga, how you doing, my brother?
This is Yeke.
Hey, Bavier, Beliva Navle.
Vabese.
Mekale Grandma, young Baji, please, you learn of it, though. To get to a bag of
Gaffair, sir.
Man, you don't know, man. Why not?
Okay, look. My coach, Falcon will finish with you, man.
Hey, James Goodell will tell me why you're sad. I just waiting for you to finish so we can go to the council.
Look,
that proves to me that everything Councilor Verdier has been saying is now adding up.
My question to you is, did they tell you that your pickup was involved with accident, or they just told you your pickup was damaged and they took it to prostitute model? You told them to take it to prostitute model.
All they told me was that this is Valley War. Oh, Bossman, you pick up, you get water go inside the turbo charger, water go inside the engine. I said, Valley, that's not possible. That was all they said. They never told me anything about accident, whether they hit somebody hit them, nothing. They never told me anything.
So that means in my mind, what Councilor Verdier is saying that true, they're just trying to do cover up to say they pick us in the garage, they pick up on the scene or something. They're trying to destroy evidence. Well, the evidence cannot be destroyed. That question.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mr. Fagon.
Okay, Yeke, you just asked him a question, did you?
Yes, I'm done with my question.
Okay, you want to respond, Shaq, before we go to him, then we go to council?
No, he answered the question already.
He answered.
All right. Alusi, you have any questions for Shaq?
Not ready, but I could just throw in one quick question there. Where is the pickup now? Who has the pickup?
The pickup is still a prestige model. The pickup is still a prestige model as we speak. You guys can send anybody there. The pickup is still a prestige model up to now. They have not fixed it. It's still there.
But then on what grounds are you guys using the pickup? How are they gaining access to the pickup to be using it to commit these crimes?
the pickups have
or
been
less
over
crime.
there. Mr. Fadiga, the pickup have been to Prestige Motor for approximately going to 3 years now. What we are explaining here is something that happened since 2020. I think when I just came to America, 2021. I think 2020 or 2020. When I came to America. Since then, the pickup have been to Prestige Motor. You can go there and ask the record. They will tell you when they took the pickup there exactly.
So now that the pickup has been linked to a crime, counsel, do you know whether the pickup is still at Prestige Motor? Since in fact it is it is alleged now that it is a crime scene evidence.
Precisely, that's my information, and my source at the time, because I had to ask where is the pickup. You know, and my source at the time said it was in the garage. He has just identified Prestige Motor, but I know it has been decommissioned, you know, and knowing that it is evidence in the commission of a murder or a crime, I think they try to hide the evidence or do away with the evidence, decommission it. Nobody will see it anymore. Anybody looking for it, they won't find it. You know, and that's why I announced to you guys that, look, I don't know who owns this vehicle, but this is the vehicle this guy has been using, that he has used. So the missing link in the puzzle is who owns the vehicle. I'd like to know, it would be important for investigators to know who owns the vehicle so that they can establish the link. How come the vehicle ended up with him? And initially, my impression was they have seized the vehicle from somebody, because it's common. People steal vehicles and use it to commit crime and get rid of the vehicle so that the crime is not traced to them. That was my impression initially. That's why I was anxious to know. I thought that by finding out who owns the vehicle, it will lead us to additional evidence.
So thank you for that. I mean, now, when I heard you say that the other day, I got like, this pickup looked like Sheck pickup. So we got Sheck on the set now. The world is watching him. I'm sure you're going to be trying to get to him behind the scene, but is there anything you want to know from Sheck as to one or two other things? Because you're a legal luminary, you're a legal mind. You probably can ask one or two questions that will help inform the public on this case, now that the pickup is not only linked now to Ines, but you know that the main suspect in the Gloria Musu saga was the guy using the pickup also. Is there something you would like to ask that will help Sakor educate the Liberian people on something?
Well, for the moment, that's all I wanted to know. And since we started the show, I've received several messages identifying Sheck, even before Sheck came on. And it's been confirmed that he owns the vehicle. And that is it. And so I will have to discuss with him further in completing our report. A lot of good things he has said here already, but upon reviewing them, there may be other questions that I would like to engage Sheck with. At the moment, I don't have anything as yet. And when Dr. Richardson asked, I said no, but it came to my mind that I should ask if he is the owner, definitely. But my phone I was muted, so my voice didn't come through, because I got several messages identifying Sheck as the owner of the vehicle. So for now, it's okay with me, you know. But
before I come to you, Al Hussein, let's ask Dr. Francine, because she's kind of, you can see she's living there with me. It's a woman's thing. You just see people going around killing people's husbands, killing people's children. You know, so don't worry, Dr. Francine. From there, I will make fun for you. But I can see you holding your hands. For all we scary now, we inside already. Dr. Francine, you got any questions?
No, thank you, Mr. Fagon. It's not about being fearful. It's about processing the information. I'm very much processing what I'm hearing and don't want to be reactive or impulsive. This is a lot of information that was unfolded on Spoon right now. We're talking about, we have established the owner of the truck. We have established that this truck has some link to Russia. We have established that this man who is apparently been alleged to have murdered the daughter of Gloria Scott, also worked for Sheikh Sakor and for many years doing diamond business in Liberia and taking our resources with that could have been used to build Liberia. So there's a lot of things that's going on with me right now. That is just shocking, very shocking to me. So that's why I'm actually, because I know you know a lot about this story, so I'm sort of relinquishing my moderating duties to you a little bit here for you to carry on. But it's very shocking. I'm sure Liberians are texting me right now. They want to hear more. They're very shocked. They're actually complaining that I should give you more time. That's why they're texting me. So go ahead, on.
But Council, before we come to you, Sheikh is with us. Al Hussein, before you forget your thought, what did you want to contribute? You are muted.
I was muted. Yeah, I just unmuted myself. I see you've been making rounds on the internet with the Costa and other interviews. Is there any point that you fear for your life because you're driving your truck? I think people can trace you. I don't know how easy it is, but I don't think it will be difficult to find you. Do you have any concern about your life that those people, because these are damning allegations that you are making against powerful people in Liberia. Is there any point that you fear for your life that these guys will come after you? And then one last follow-up question, if you won't forget. I heard that the MCC, someone from the Moreira City Corporation, or some individual from that corporation was involved in dismantling that truck. Are you aware of it? That the destroying of the truck was done by someone from the Moreira City Corporation.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Fadiga. And I want to just address your first concern. That's about my safety. Look, Fadiga, I will tell you one thing, right? Now I'm a Loma Madingo. When I come to the point to fight, I either succeed or I die. And especially when I know that I'm fighting a genuine fight. The issue when I appear on the Costa show that I said there's nothing about the story. I said the fights. And then you raise the point that I'm going against powerful people. Yes, they're powerful, but they're not powerful more than God. Look, I'll tell you one thing. I got no fear. I got no fear. Look, was not more dangerous than Charles Taylor. Taylor had all the generals. He had all the men. Where is Taylor today? Now I will say this on this platform. Where I have stand, where I have come. I'm not afraid of anybody. Because you know why? I'm not fighting anybody wrongly. And I have the responsibility to defend myself where people try to align me to the situation that I know nothing about. I have the responsibility to speak out when I've been oppressed and marginalized by the weird administration. I have the right to speak out where we are indebted to me and my partners, and the money is overdue. Because of that, I should be afraid. Let me tell you something, Fadiga. In that country, your press releases, your protests, and other things, Mr. Weah, they have now moved Mr. Weah. If you, Mr. Weah, think that people will sit there, there will not be a man that will come and rise up to him, he will be joking. Or he going to think, say, he going to come and militarize the country and you have Jefferson Koji reincarnate into Chucky and he will not have anybody to face him. You must be joking. Look, I drive my truck, I move around, I got no fear. I got my home, I have $1 million home, just opposite his home in Duazon. I'm not afraid. I got my kids in Liberia, I'm not afraid. Look, Liberians are going through a lot. Liberians have gone through a lot. I think we have reached the zenith of our tolerance. And somebody must stand up to Weah. I will tell you this for real. Somebody must stand up to Weah. The only inch that is between Weah and Mr. Taylor, the way they left right now, is for Weah to ever think that he's going to come after me or use his men to come after me. Trust me, if it will cost me to relinquish whatsoever status in the United States and go and channel my justice into another means, I will do it. But I'm not afraid, my brother. Let me just tell you that. I got no fear.
Okay, we're going to bring in the son, but let me ask you this. Take 2 minutes. Tell us a little bit. Everybody is here, and Council, I beg your indulgence. It's about 5:19. We're supposed to leave 6 o'clock. Council, we got about 30 minutes. Once we have Sheikh here, let's get the best of him. Council, you're my guest. Even tomorrow again, you'll be my guest. Sheikh,
Yes,
this
sir.
money issue came up with
I
the
agree,
Russians.
Pagon.
Yes, this money issue came up. You see her, she's going to stay after sis. It's getting juicy. This money issue came up with the Russians. The Russians gave their money for the 2017 elections. That I heard many, many times while I was there. I was the lead campaigner here in the States. Take a few minutes. Link us with your best, because everybody know Mr. Weah was your best friend. Everybody know you connected Weah to the Russians. Everybody know you made sure that the money came in for the election. You brought in the helicopter. You brought in the Russian guys, the IT. It's not a secret anymore, because if I'm here, it's not a secret. Take 2 or 3 minutes. Tell us a little bit about that whole saga.
Well, thank you, Mr. Fagon. In as much as I did not come on the platform to discuss
just a little bit
the
about
issues
it.
of the Russians again, but I just want to make a little clarity on the Dr. Francis comment regarding
The diamonds.
the diamond issues. Dr. Francis, we are involved in the legitimate diamond mining in Liberia. We paid our taxes. The fact that, in fact, that Value had not even worked for that long, Value were doing prospecting. We had a prospecting license from the Ministry of Mines where you can do a little work. And later on, Value even paid for the licenses. And I can send you copies of the licenses we paid for that give us the legitimate right to mine. So just to clear that your doubt, it is nothing illegal. We paid our taxes. We were licensed diamond dealers in Liberia. The evidence are there. You can check even the Diamond Association in Liberia. They will tell you we got an office even in the diamond building. We're paying our taxes and we're good on that. So it was nothing illegitimate, just to clear your doubt on that.
Mr. Saka, thank you for clarifying. My concern was actually how rich our country is. When I saw the diamonds that you show us, and I thought about, oh my goodness, we could use the diamond for medications, for schooling, for businesses in our country. That's kind of what my concern was. I'm sure and I trust that you have the proper license as a Liberian to carry on the correct diamond business in Liberia. I'm just amazed as how much resources we have and how far and how developed our country can be. So thank you for your clarification.
No, you're welcome, Dr. Francis. So back to Mr. Fagon. Mr. Fagon, like the 2017 election, like I said, I didn't come to speak about that issue because that issue has been channeled already to the requisite authority.
You are at liberty to decline. I just wanted to
and very soon we'll be on the international stage playing that match. But just to elaborate on it a little bit, as you know, Mr. Weah has been the one who has used his influence by any other means to have people coming around for an assistance. Like I explained on the Costa show, Mr. Weah asked for an assistant from me, and I was able to provide the assistant. But Mr. Weah did not live up to his, his promises as it was discussed in the various meetings with the Russians. And regarding the issue of the 2017 election, the fraud and what have you, we will find another time to discuss that because we got people reviewing them already. We provided the evidence. And the issue of Mr. Weah and Mr. Bamba bringing in Terry Burkinabes during the 2017 elections, where if he did not win elections, they were going to overthrow. These are issues we got the evidence. This will just be new, other stuff we'll be building on your platform. But like I said, we got a lot more. We're not afraid of Mr. Weah. If Mr. Weah ever thought that he would come and use the presidency to replenish his lost resources or opportunities and turn around and kill the Liberian people and marginalize everybody, somebody must stand up to him. I'm a mundane. I'm never afraid of anybody, especially when I know I'm fighting a genuine fight. So the issue of the Russian money, I think, is up at the international stage, and very soon we will start playing that song at the international level. So I will not want to delve into that much.
Yeah, but you were the mediator between the Russians and Mr. Weah, correct?
100%.
Okay. And the monies were delivered.
100%.
Okay. Now, having said that, I'll just ask you the last question, and you can be our guest because this bogus indictment for murder is up. Somebody's dad is in jail. A person whose dad never even went to the Gloria Mususcat home. He just sent his boys there to work. And now he's charged with murder. He's sitting in jail. His son will come up and explain. and the council. So I know you're not that busy. Can you hang out with us a little bit? Can you hang out with us a little bit, Shaq?
Regarding the situation.
My man, you lonely Jeremy, yeah, man. Hang out with us small.
Yeah, not a problem. I'm right here. Right now on my 10 hours break, so I can stay hang out with you guys here.
But then if finish, you in the necklace with us, sit down here with us small.
Yeah, let me just speak a little bit on the misplace of justice in Liberia.
Okay,
you can only have a perfect justice system if you have the three components of the criminal justice system that works perfectly. But the first thing is, if the first component of the criminal justice system we have to deal with arrest, investigate, and charge, if that is not properly handled, the justice system litigation will be zero. You understand? So the fact that you're going to go and arrest people that are not even aligned, that are not even connected to the crime, at the end of the day, what kind of justice you're going to provide those people that you're going to send over there? Because if you look at their charge, see what kind of evidence that you have. So this is just to tell you that the misplace of justice in Liberia is just, I mean, you don't need a FBI agent to look up some of the reports that the government can get and tell you it's just like a play live rating and you call 6th graders to go and perform it. You understand? You look at those things, even the private security, the ordinary private security, you tell him, say, who can read and write? You look at him and tell him, say, listen to me, read the report, you tell him, say, but this is bogus. You understand me? But there's one thing I can tell you. Liberia is at the juncture of chaos. It is too much. It is getting too much. The fact that these things happen, Mr. Weah goes into church, he make mockery of them. The fact that these things happen, Mr. Weah sits and shows no remorse as a president. Let's forget the fact that even if those things were done any other way, whether they were killed or whether they died mysteriously or whether they die any other way, show remorse. That's the, I mean, that people follow them over there, their mother them over there. Let me just put it in simple English. Ain't getting me? That people mind bad them over there. You understanding me? That they look up to them for life.
Okay, but this is your best friend. Man. This is your best friend you're talking about. This is a guy you saw like this, hand in hand, the one that poke and call Shete and behind. That your best friend. So we know what you're talking about, and we feel how you feel because this is somebody that you ate with, drank with, did everything with. There's no telling. But I'd like for you to stay, and I'd like to announce that we're running up to 7 p.m. tonight. And the people have said if Dr. Francine leave tonight, if Dr. Francine leave, there'll be problem. You see the way Dr. Francine dressed, you can know she was supposed to go somewhere. But the people have protested. They have said she will stay until 7 p.m. And so we're going to try to bring in the son of the contractor who is listed. And like Council Verdia said, I want him to listen to the son so as to provide his expert legal advice. Good day. Do you have his son on the line?
Yes, he's prepared.
Okay.
He's ready.
Ask him to tell us exactly what he knows about the indictment. I won't call it indictment. I'm sorry, because I see Jerome wrapping his eye like, don't call it indictment. It's a charge sheet. So tell us about your dad. Tell us what happened. And in the meantime, I'd like to recognize the former Assistant Minister for Information Services, the Honorable Samuel Wozie, and I will speak later on. Tell us about the sheet on your screen.
Hello.
Hello. Tell us your name and tell us the story that we're looking at on the screen.
Okay, I'm Samuel Francis. I live in Columbus, Ohio, USA. And my dad is Tama Francis, as you see on the screen. Mm-hmm. My little brother, who is next to me, is James Francis. And then the Joshua Francis is my auntie son. She's in Guinea right now. But my dad read him. And he stays with my dad. And the Ezekiel Tama is the fourth person that I don't know of. But he works for my dad. Because my dad is an electrician. Okay. And Samuel Wozie, I know Samuel Wozie well. Samuel Wozie should know me. We all grew up from Children's Factory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us what you've heard from your dad so far, and tell us why are we looking at a charge sheet that includes your dad. And tell us when you can. Was your dad ever at Gloria Musu Scott's house on the day of the murder or anything? Tell us what you know so far.
No, my dad wasn't there. I talked to my dad over and over and again, and maybe we can talk to there are two persons in question that we can talk to, and they will clarify that. Gloria Musu Scott and the Gordon Colley person that is always at the Musu Scott house. That whenever my dad goes there to work or his team goes there to work, he will be the one to allow them in, and he will stay with them throughout. After work, he will allow them out. I'm so much concerned, and I decided to call people around to see how much they can live. Their contractors' story business that the contractors were there to work, and one of them left behind. So I'm trying to clarify that is a blatant and it's a lie. I verify it. I talked to me, and he explained everything, and he told me exactly how he got in contact with Glorious Musu Scout.
Tell us what your dad told you.
You were saying something, Eugene?
I said, tell us what your dad told you. Tell us your dad's story before we go to the sheet.
Okay. Firstly, I want to tell everybody that Samuel Francis, the son of Tama Francis, and I'm normally called Kukalo. Everywhere, if you want to get me easily, you just say Kukalo. That's how people call me. My dad told me that he got in contact with Gloria Musu Scout through Obiva generator store. Musu Scout went at the store to buy her generator. She bought the generator and decided to ask the people there who really y'all know when it comes to generator or electricity that you can recommend me to. And the people decided to call my dad, and how he got in contact with Musu Scout. Last year, 2022, I think he said around April. And Musu Scout quickly called him, and that's how he and Musu Scout got in communication. He went there. He did work for her last year, April. And every now and then, after every 2-3 months, he will call her. She will call him, She will call him to do some work, based on what you have, and then he will do it, and just like that. 2023, they went there 3 times. The first time they went there, my dad was there, and the last 2 times. And like the Liberian people followed. Musu Scout just put up a press release. She said something that all of what happened, the contractor, the first time the contractor wasn't there. The 2 times she told the police that armed robber went after her, there were no contractors in the picture. So when she contacted my dad, and my dad always tell me, he been telling me that, my man, most often when it comes to Musu Scout work, she will not be the one to call me. She will instruct Gordon Colley to always call me when there is work to be done. Gossam Colley. So Gossam Colley was always the one that will always call my dad.
Can we speed it up? We need some cross here. Let me ask you quickly just to adjust time. I know we're leaving from year 7. The council is here. You have Councilor Verder. He's listening to you. Tell us what happened on the day of the murder.
Okay, that's what I'm hailing.
Right.
Yeah. So when Musu Scout called this year, she wasn't the one anyway. Gossam Colley called my dad, said, "Oh, we got some work to be done." So my dad went there with his team. When they went there, they started the work, they did what they had to do, and they left for the first time. The second time, my dad didn't go there. My aunt's son And the other boy who my dad is training, there were 3 of them that went there to do the work for the second time. So when they were doing the work, they got stuck somewhere because of material shortage. So there was no material to complete the work. So the Godson boy were always with them. My little brother said, Godson always open the door for them or the gate or wherever to have access to the building. And Godson will stay with you throughout while you work. And Godson again, after you're done working, Godson will let you out of the compound. So while working, you go close to Godson. They used to have fun lecturing while they're working. So the second time they went there, they would never completed the work. They left because of some light feature or something. My little brother there. So they left. And Godson placed a call to Musu Scout and said, because of this issue, short of material, the contractor will not be able to complete the work. They will come on another time. So they left. So when they got the material, Godson again placed a call to my dad that, the material, and within that time, it was the very time that they were waiting. It was the very time that 2 times the very armed robber, whoever, attempted Musu Scout's house. Within that time that they were waiting. So the contractor wasn't around. If you follow Musu Scout or press release, he said there was no contractor when the armed robber, whoever, attempted or tried. Once you told the police and everybody, there were no contractors. It's in a press release. So after they got the material, they called my dad. And my dad and my little brother, they all are not people who follow news or Liberian politics. So they never even knew that Anwar went on Musu Scout twice behind them. They never knew it. So my dad quickly called my little brother and said, the people say they got the material, you go there and do the work because I will not be able to go there. Again, he didn't go. So my little brother and his team went there. And this is the team that he went with. There were only 2 back then. There were supposed to be 3, but he didn't go with the other ball. Joshua, when you look at the chart sheet, Joshua Francis, he didn't go with Joshua Francis, but instead he went with Ezekiel Tama. There were 2 that went there the last time, which was on Wednesday. When they went there, they started the work. And when they went there, my little brother, he placed a call to Godson Collie. They were outside the compound because that's the only way you can enter the compound. You had to call Godson. So he called Godson and said, we're here. And Godson came out, got them, went in the place, and they started the work. And because of his closeness with Godson, he said he decided to, and it was shocking. He told Godson, my little brother, he told Godson, my man, how can everything just change? New gate and everything, the compound, everything changed. So Godson now was telling my little brother, you hear that 2 times that arrow came on us? You're not following the news? My little brother said, I don't know. I don't normally follow those things. And I had to let it go. They started to work. They were working. My little brother said, while they were working, Musu Scout herself went there while they were working. She went there and met my little brother working. And before Musu Scout got there, by then the 10th person were already in the picture. And how the 10th person came, they had some Godson told my little brother, said, you know, you guys some drilling issue in the Oman room. So my little brother said, but we don't have drill right now. Let me call my dad when it comes to the electric drill. So my little brother called my dad and said, Daddy, we got some electrical issue that has to do with drill business because my dad doesn't let his electric drill out easily to an apprentice. So my little brother called my dad and said, we need an electric drill. So my dad said, okay, so that you can come back and forth, it will cost you a lot. Let me send Joshua, the Joshua Francis, that's how he got in the picture. Let me send Joshua with an electric drill because my dad lives in the factory. So let me send Joshua. So I have Joshua my dad took the electric and gave it to Jaja. Jaja went there. When Jaja went there, my little brother said, okay, since we got a little bit physical work and we want to get out of here sooner, Joshua, don't go. Just stay with us. Let's complete this work. I had to begin 3. So while they were working, Musu Scout got in and she told my little brother on the team, the contractors, that because no matter when they go there to work, she will always provide food for them. So you told them, say, the person who always providing food for us, the person is not here, but however, I will give you money to find food to eat. I will give it to Gosom. So Musu Sky gave the money to Gosom and Musu Sky left. My little brother said they took the money, including the Gosom person, at Musu Scout's house. They all went outside at the Kobo shop to find food to eat. After they found food to eat, they went back to continue their work. Gosom was still with them. They got through the work, they completed the work. And then they told Gosom, say, we're done with the work. And Gosom himself saw the work, they were done. Gosom decided to call Musu Scout, telling that the contractors are done with their work on a Wednesday. So Musu Scout said, since you don't have money, or they never have money, because Musu Scout have already instructed Gosom to go somewhere to get money. And where he went, the person never had money to pay my little brother or the contractors. So Gosom came back in a present, called the Oma and said, oh, the person I want to don't have money. So the Oma, Musu Scout instructed them to go outside. There's a shop attached to Musu Scout's house. Whatever the sales, I don't know. Instructed Gosom to carry the whole team to the shop so that they can transport the team. Owing to the fact that they don't have money to pay the contractor, that the next day Musu Scout were going to pay my dad for his work.
Can we speed it up a little bit so people can ask questions? So then what happened at the shop?
Okay. So when they got at the shop with Gosom, my little brother said he still remember there were 3 other ladies sitting at the shop that they received $2,000 Liberian for transportation. And they gave them that money. It was around 4 something, broad daylight. Gosom was there, the other ladies were there, and they all left. He left with 2 other workers, 3 in total. They all left.
So you are telling us that your dad was never ever there that day and did not work there?
Right. He wasn't. You can ask the Gosom colleague. You can ask the Gosom colleague. You can ask the 3 other ladies. If the police will do their investigation, let them try. If you are investigating these things, you don't have a certain group of people owing to the fact that there were too many.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you before I go to people who have questions for you. If your dad wasn't there at all, and I tend to believe you, why do you think they charged your dad with murder?
That's my worry. That's the reason why you see I'm calling all around, my wife and I, we're calling all around to make sure that this thing, it shouldn't be pinned on them. I don't know that well. If you're going to buy my ticket tomorrow to go to Liberia, and if they will jail my dad, they'll have to jail me too. Because I know this guy very well. He's far from too many problems. My dad, since I was born, I know him to be somebody who from work, he goes home, from home he goes to work.
Sam, let's wait a minute. Sam, let's wait a minute. We've heard you. We've heard the whole story. Let me see if any one of my panelists have a question of interest. But I will give the council the first stage if he has any question of interest. Just stay where you are and be very brief because of time. Councilor Verda, do you have a question of interest for him? You are muted.
Okay. I'd like to put everything in context, which will enable all of us ask questions if we want to. But I do not have a question for the honorable gentleman. He said
Go
one
ahead.
thing. Yes, he said one thing that is important, that everybody who was there during the crew work, they left during daytime. But I'd like to emphasize that there are some professional people in the police. Not everybody in the police is corrupted or so. You remember what I said about the police director getting involved in the murder of Ines and all of that. But what was just displayed is not a charge sheet, neither is it an indictment. It is just a detention slip. The police, when this thing happened, it shocked everybody. The police has to do its investigation. We need to give them time. So every connection to the scene or the location of anybody they have reason to cast suspicion on, we want to get them involved. And I've heard one or two persons saying that the Honorable Justice Gloria Scott says something about somebody being suspicious on the ground. So all of those, the police is casting its nest to see who all they can get, call them in, isolate them, talk to them, investigate them before they can even arrive at the point of arrest, indictment, or anything like that. Before they arrest people, they have to have probable cause. And maybe they are trying to determine that. And when you say indictment, like you said, as Christ, it was too early. They were taking in yes. They were taking in on the 20 at 6 p.m. on the 24th. They were detained. Today is just the 25th. Under the law, they have two days within which to do preliminary. But professionally, you don't have to bring them in, but given our limited resources and investigation skills, they would like to bring people in, detain them, to intimidate them, or sometimes they can torture and harass people and all of that. That's the kind of method we've been using in Liberia. So they have up to tomorrow. By tomorrow, 6 p.m., if they don't charge or release them, then we all can be concerned, why are you still holding these people? So by tomorrow, 6 p.m., they should be able to perfect a charge and then maybe hold them until a grand jury can be, because murder, until a grand jury can be impaneled or seated. I don't know now. I've forgotten the court schedule, whether there's a grand jury impaneled already. But a lawyer will be able to tell me that when I find out. So that's what I have to say. So they are not charged. They are just being detained. And it was just yesterday they were detained, and it's just been one day.
Before I go back to any other person, you just said that they'll bring these people in. But let me ask you, the police said, we're looking for any information we can get. You sat on this platform, you provided information on a particular individual, his name, where he worked, who he works for, and by Friday, the individual disappeared from his workplace, have not been seen, heard from. Now we're saying, what do you make of that before I go back to the panel?
Well, this is the very thing they are trying to avoid. They are trying to avoid bringing in the real perpetrator. So the best thing they tell him, leave the country. And Liberia has a history of doing those kinds of things. Okay, I want to refer to Yinswa.
That's an echo.
Someone device is on. Can you mute yourself?
Good. Thank you.
Okay, the auditor who was murdered, on the day he was murdered, the current auditor, the current director of that section, absconded from the country. He left, and when everything quieted down, he has just returned and he was appointed head. During the $15 billion or the $1 billion lost and all of that kind of thing, the handler of the articles at the port, I think he's Vani, but he's a Salif. He's the junior brother of the Minister of Internal Affairs. He was
Yeah,
running.
I just wanted to say something, and then if they don't have question for me, that's fine.
No, hold on there.
All right.
Okay, so when the news broke about the missing money, he too was taken out of the country. And he stayed there forever. And then he I don't know whether he has his back, but I got information that he's back. I haven't been able to confirm it. So that thing, so now they are taking the main suspect out, the prime suspect out of the country. We will see whether they will call Jefferson Koji in, and in the absence of that man, they will have to hold Jefferson Koji. But so as not to prejudice their investigation, we're just going to remain cool. And that's the reason why they took Jefferson Koji has taken this man out of the country. We may not see him anymore. They could kill him to destroy evidence, or he could just abscond and go anywhere he wants to go. But like I said, we have one more day for the police. After the 48 hours, then we begin to ask questions why they are still holding these guys. But for now, it's not an indictment. They're just detaining them for questioning. I'm holding all of that in good faith.
Let me go to my panel.
Yeah, I have a question. Yeah, my question is to the contractor's son. So are you okay with the explanation of Councilor Verdier that your dad is a person of interest, that he will be detained for at least 2 days because this is part of the police work? Are you okay with that explanation?
The thing is, I'm living in a country with that has to do with laws and order. So I'm not. Since yesterday, my older brother called me, and even right now, there are a lot of people calling me that I'm saying too much. I don't know what are they telling me. Am I saying too much when it comes to my dad, who is 100% innocent? That I can give myself off for his business? That I know him well? Am I saying too much because of that? I've got in contact with my lawyer, and I'm going to do everything. I just want for the Lavergne people to know I'm going to do everything my will to get my dad and my little brothers out of it, because I know 100% they are innocent. So I'm not accusing anybody. I'm not saying the Liberian government they know about what happened or they did it. I'm not accusing anybody. I just want the law to take its course, that my dad is innocent. If they are carrying on their investigation, let them carry on the investigation right. All those that are involved, let them bring them in. Let them not restrict it to a certain group of people. Because my little brother explained that the Godson president was there. Who's this Godson? I don't know. Why is he not around? And I'm very sure that they said they have security or private security out in the Glorious house. Why is this person or those securities are not around for investigation? Why only them? So I'm just worried. I'm not accusing anybody. I'm not saying this person is responsible. I'm just worried about my dad and his team. That this thing shouldn't be put up and they shouldn't be harmed in the process.
We got that.
We got that. Whatever the councilor said, when it comes to carry on some preliminary investigation, I'm okay with that. I know that at the end of the day, they are not part of it. They can never be part of it. And I'm 100% sure of what I'm saying.
Okay. Next person, I'll go to Al Hussein. And then after Al, we'll go down to Good Day, and then we'll go back to Honorable Yaka Kwaluba before we let Sam go.
All right, the gentleman I speaking, a couple of questions came to mind. Like Dr. Richardson said, I think those guys are just persons of interest, because the fact that everybody that has some connection at that house, which is tender in any investigation, the fact that these guys were at the house, they're going to run through the list and investigate. My question to the gentleman is, since they were arrested, have you spoken to your dad? What is he telling you about his current situation and what is going on with him? What are they asking him? Have you gotten any word from him yet?
Yeah, I've talked to my dad and my little brother, but I'm not going to tell people what they told me, for the mere fact that I have my lawyer. My lawyer is involved, so I'm not going to tell the public when it comes to that way. He told me when it comes to the whole case. I just telling people how innocent who my dad is and my little brother and his team. So when it comes to that, my lawyer going to speak about it. Or when you reach to that point, that we say something.
You don't have to be specific.
I'm just worried about his safety.
What is their current condition? Are they okay? What is their current condition? You don't have to go in the case. What is their current condition? Are they okay?
Well, with regards to my
Should we be worried about the safety?
Of course, that's the reason why I'm calling all around. I'm worried about his safety. This is how I'm worried about his safety. One, my mom is seriously sick. She's undergoing treatment in Guinea right now to speak Conakry. He's also worried about that, his wife, and my dad also have a health issue. He got pressure. So I'm also worried about that. Something that he hasn't gone through in his entire life. When you check his record when it comes to his living, he hasn't gone through that. He hasn't gone to police station one day. Seeing going through that, I can tell you when I talked to my dad, he was in tears last night for something that he knew.
All right. Okay.
So I'm worried about his health.
We appreciate that. We appreciate
that.
Good day.
That's how much I'm worried about. I don't know what. He hasn't told me that he's been treated where he is or somebody's doing something to him. But I'm just worried about his health.
All right, let's go to Good Day. We got to wrap it up so we can take care of counsel quickly. Good Day, where are you?
No, I don't have question for him.
Yeah, Cap?
Look, I think people that are being sent for to the police station, they are getting the wrong people. The government know what is going on, but this is the normal thing they will do so they can say we are doing investigation. That's what charade. I can say to Madam Scott, the former Associate Justice, the former Election Commissioner, that we just need to leave it to God. The government will not say nothing, and they will not say nothing that they have always done. All the murders have been going on in the country, they have not said nothing. They have not brought on any funding. The only thing our president can do to say the people who are enjoying themselves in the car, if they see people took their money and want to lie on the label, he always influenced the investigation. At the end of the day, the people will leave it just as it is. So I'm in sympathy with Madam Scott, but Madam Scott, you will not get no redress from people. People are very irresponsible and not responsible to the people.
Thank you. Thank you. Sam, we're going to leave it there for now. We're going to keep in touch. Tomorrow, we're going to touch base with police to see what they can tell us before we come back on the show. And I promise you, Sam, we're not going to leave your dad there. We're going to keep in touch, okay?
Okay, I appreciate that, Father.
All right, thank you. Counsel, we come back to you. This case has to do with you breaking the news. What Liberians don't understand is that you came up and said, this is the alleged perpetrator. You even described vividly how he looked. And I got confirmation today that the reason why his face looked like that is that during the war, he used to use makeup with shiny thing. And you call his name. You gave his workplace. You decided to tell us everything. And up to now, police cannot say anything. His boss did not show him to the Liberian people. Spoon Talk inquired. His boss said he wasn't comfortable. Counsel, what have you heard and what do you know now in the Glorious Scott saga? You are muted. You are muted.
Okay, I think I'm okay now.
Yes, you are.
Thank you for that. And as I said initially, the prime suspect has been taken out of the country. And flight under the law is evidence of guilt. And that is an attempt to evade justice. He is the doer and the perpetrator. What therein lies the danger. If people didn't know, I would say Jefferson Koji is leading a private militia of Mr. Weah. He's running a garrison at the city hall. And I think yesterday you described where they have distributed these guys. Distribution is not a proper word, but for the lack of proper words. So he's running a garrison at the city hall, and those guys are armed. And that is illegal. And I would think the government should think twice. Before we have elections, all of those buggers over there should be disarmed. Jefferson Koji's private army should be disbanded. As you could not have a militia, armed militia, in the face of normal operations of a country where you have statutory security establishments. Jefferson Koji, from my information, is the most feared and most powerful person in that gangster's paradise. Because he is brave, he commits crime with impunity, and he's prepared to do anything for the president. That's the situation, and that is why we have what we have. His man has gone out of the country, and he thinks it's difficult to link him. No, there are several linkages. When it comes to prosecution, that would be a matter easy to prosecute because the evidence is all around. The circumstances gel very well, and the Liberian people are aware. So it's just unfortunate that the little girl had to lose her life. And again, we extend our sympathy to our Honorable Chief Justice. And this is why we labor. This is why we fight. These kind of things should not be happening in our country, especially if they are politically motivated or for gains. Ordinary criminal arguing or fighting over something and then crime is committed. We say yes, normal is crime. Or people go to steal and loot. Everything that happened at the Chief Justice house to make it look like they came for document, I think it was just it was staged to create an impression that armed robbers went to her place. But as you said, and we all know, it was an assassination attempt at her life. But as God will be God, circumstances didn't permit them, and an innocent life was sacrificed. But God knows, and we pray that behind that waste of innocent blood, the good things that are behind it will come. And her honor herself said it, she is confident that there will be justice. Yes, there will be justice. The case has been blown out. The chief perpetrators are known. Yes, Mr. Weah government will not prosecute. That's okay. We will live with it until there's a change of government. And Liberian people have an opportunity coming October, if there's elections. And I will repeat the message that I've been saying. With these kind of things, we have seen what Mr. Weah is made of. Don't vote for him. Vote for the other opposition. Try other people. Look amongst those who are alternatives and choose one of them. And then the opportunity to prosecute and to bring justice in our land will prevail. I'm a Christian, and the Bible says the foundation of his kingdom is justice and righteousness. Righteousness and justice, the foundation of his kingdom. Without justice, Liberia is going nowhere. And we all should put our voice, our work, our hands together. That's why I appreciate panelists who come to discuss these issues. I appreciate Honorable Yeke so much. He's the lone voice at the legislature. The lone voice, but his voice is very loud and heard widely around the world. Thank you.
Well, I have with me, before I bring in Dr. Francine, Alex is joining us because he heard about the link of the Russians. And while the counsel with us and Sheikh is with us, Alex, tell us what you know or heard about this Russian money. Since, in fact, you work with Legis on the basis of statistics and data, and the Russians were linked to it somehow. You serve as deputy director. Tell us what you know. You are muted.
All right, thank you, Emakle. You know, the very first day the council came and on the show and talked about the issue about Honorable Scott, I did make it very clear that there are surveillance and there are people on the ground who are taking information. And so there is easily a traceable link to many of what are happening. I was on the phone yesterday with someone who we spoke for more than 2 hours. These people got details information about what is happening. I can also confirm that indeed Valley Terry worked with the Monrovia City Police because I have interacted with him before. I can also confirm from my sources that today he also absconded the country. I cannot say definitely whether he was the one who committed the crime or not, because the information that I got from my sources was that they know who committed the crime, but they cannot confirm to me whether it is this person or that person. So that is what I know with regards to the issue about the situation with the justice. And also with regards to those, I think Albert Peter and Gifty Lama, what I also know for a fact from recording that I heard from information I got from credible international surveillance and intelligence officers was that these people were taken to Nipo Street. In fact, the first person gotten was Peter, and Peter's phone was used to call Gifty. They were taken to Nipo Street, subsequently to a beach, and then placed in a car. There are recordings to that, because whenever you call, the nearest GSM tower makes it possible for you to call. And so that information is being recorded, and some of our international partners have access to it. So sometimes when you see how people say how you know about these things, it's through that. And there was somebody also on the call that particular night of the incident that recorded everything, and people tried to get to him. He also out of the country, and he had released that information. So these are the simplest and easier way that people get this information. There is also somebody on Saturday who left from Liberia. Last week, Saturday, I want to be precise and go for certain information so that I'm able to be exact.
Take your time. We're here. We're not going anywhere. If
So
Dr.
that
Fenton can
person,
stay, take your time.
that person left on Saturday on Kenya Airway KQ509 from Monrovia to Accra. That person has a passport number PP02236.
No, don't call the passport
I'm
number.
not going to call the entire passport. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing.
Thank you.
That person has a passport number PP022365, and I'm not going to call the last digit. But that person used the Minister of Finance car to go to the airport. I'm not going to say anything beyond that with regards to that person. What I can say to you for a fact is that in April of last year, when I went to Europe, there were people calling me from the National Security Agency and other international agencies about things that were planned for me. And there were meetings that I went to in Paris where I interacted with people and I listened to a lot of recording and things like that. And there were things that I saw that were very favorable. Specifically with regard to the issue of the Russians' money.
Okay.
I was the war room head of the CDC in 2017.
Okay.
Ishmael Toe was like a boss to me. And I sure maybe Sheik will know Ishmael Toe.
The Burkina Faso. Yeah.
Ishmael, the Russians' money was what we used for the pool washing and to train the pool washer and for the war room.
Thank you.
What I know is that Ishmael told me at one point in time that he got money from Sakor.
$55,000.
You know, and I got portion of that money.
Okay.
And we use portion of that money to pay for the pool washing hall at the Corina Hotel or where you have Saint Barbecue. I think Mr. Michel. I know for a fact that Ishmael Toe and the current regime are no longer, you know, on the same route.
Right.
I also got information from Ishmael Toe because Ishmael Toe was, and I was like very close. He would tell me a lot of things. I think you remember one time there was this situation of diplomatic passport where a girl and a child was given who it was said that Minister McGill was his girlfriend and he was the one who gave the girl and her child diplomatic passport. I think you remember that story. Yeah. I know for a fact that the child of Minister McGill in question, there was an instruction to do a DNA on him in Ivory Coast, which was done because somebody was claiming ownership of that child. I also have that DNA result as we speak, and I also saw it.
Wow.
What I also know is that the Russians sent an information to the president on one of the flights he was making to go to Accra. And I sure maybe Sakor will have heard, but that the Russians are interested in the money. And I listened to some of the Russians in a meeting. I was in Guinea for the last election in Guinea that led to, you know, uncertainty. I interacted with some of those from the Russians. They are very much interested in that and they are pursuing for the money. And they told the president on one of the flights that they are going to get to him if he cannot give them the money. So these are just some of what I know. And I want to be exact. What I know is what I know. What I don't know, I don't see. So these are the informations I wanted to corroborate when he talked about the Russian money. That
so
money,
what was the amount again that Mr. Toe had?
What I know, Mr. Toe gave me, I think about 15,000 that time. We used that money to train, to buy food for the workers, and many other things. It was basically used for the war room and the pool washing stuff. That's why we used. I also know that we bought laptops. That one is not part of the 15,000 he gave me, but we bought laptops, phones, and other things, and we brought people from France, from Ivory Coast to sell it. It was the Russians' money that we were using.
Shaq, if you're listening, how much did you give to what's his name?
Yeah. Fagon, I think Mr. Alex just relived the issues of the Russians, and then I think the fight that we are already here, and I think we got people that are substantiating our issues against Mr. Uyas being indebted to the Russians. I think we should be able to delve into a few things about what happened. But firstly, I mean, we got an issue on hand that is, I mean, a very important right now. That's the death of a young woman, which I just wanted to give my own little contribution requested before I come to the Russians. It is a normal thing in the Liberia National Police. Like Mr. Verdier said, we got professional people who are still working there. But the fact that they're not just given the opportunity to perform their duties because they got people interference from the executive or interference from officials of government. But it is a normal thing when issues of such happen wherein you will have you are as an investigator you have to find a lead, people who were connected to the victim, people who visited the victims, and then through the leads you are able to get people you suspected, and then you will bring those suspects forward, and then you try to gather evidence that will make them culpable to the crime committed. But I think in 48 hours, 72 hours, depending on the nitty-gritty of the case, if you cannot give a culpable evidence to charge them in court, then I think depending on the case, you will not want the police, receiving a rate of habeas corpus wherein they will have to provide a living body of the suspect without evidence or being charged. But I think the police doing their job. We just pray that it's not a dramatic one, like they've been doing before. And then knowing that another suspect in terms of Valley Tere name has surfaced into this alleged assassination, I think it is the responsibility of Mr. Koji to do the most honorable thing, knowing that Mr. Tere works for the MCC police, bring him forth where he can exonerate himself as not the perpetrator of the act. Having said that, let's get to the issues of the Russian money. Like I told you, like I told Mr. Fadiga, when you are fighting a genuine fight and you believe in God, you are fearless. This is just a living an example of what I said. Mr. Alex, I know Mr. Alex very well. At that time, he definitely going to tell you. I lodged then at the 2nd Street apartment, right down the beach,
Yeah,
where they were
definitely.
basing. Where they were basing. The money he's talking about, in fact, was given to him. It was after the first round of the election. Mr. Weah and Mr. Bamba had left for Accra, Ghana, and I still had some of the money left with me, which was $55,000. Mr. Weah called me and said, "Oh, Mr. Bamba called me. He said, oh, check the balance of Mr. Weah's money. We want you to give it to Mr. Usman." So I said, let Usman meet me. Usman met me at this I left like almost 3 years now. This supermarket by Vamuma, how you call it? The biggest supermarket there. They were here myself. Era supermarket. Era supermarket. I gave Usman $50,000. And then the next day in the morning, they called me again. They said Usman needed another $2,000, and we met at the same place. I gave the money to him. So I mean, these are all just clear facts that Mr. Weah is indebted to the Russians. Like I said, I don't want to delve into this issue too much because we have elevated to the international level. Because Liberians, like I said, I don't want to say much because we don't want to. Mr. Weah has already put the country into fear. People are afraid. People are being killed. So all issues we don't want to discuss them here before we put the country into more fear. But I think with current situations about how the Russians feel dissatisfied about their money, we channel it through our traditional ally, and they're looking into it. And with all of the evidence obtained, I think with Sunday. But I don't want to come on this platform, to give out threats and the rest of the other things. We love that country so much, and I think we should have to do everything possible to maintain the peace and keep our people peaceful, even in the midst of killings, corruptions, bad governance, and the sufferings, and you can name it. Yeah, okay. But what he just said, he's 100% right.
Before we close, we're going to come back to counsel. Counsel, on the Enos case, and I'll give everybody the chance to ask one question or make a comments to the Enos case. I'm not going to ask you what's your source of information. No way. Because what you explain, just like the teller gone. You want to explain who teller ran away. Don't forget, teller was the deputy chief of the Monrovia City Police. And teller, hearing what you explain, the evidence, there is a gentleman by the name of Ayuba. Teller sent him a text. Teller ran away. Teller is gone. Now, you gave us an explanation. Put a pickup at the scene. The owner of the pickup is here. Identified the pickup, told you the story about the pickup. Meaning the story is 100% true. Let me ask you this. With what you have on hand and what you know so far about the Enos case, what can you tell the Liberian people now that you have all of these pieces together? And one of the final pieces you were looking for was the weapon, the murder weapon, which is the pickup, the owner of the pickup, and who were those in charge of the pickup. They're all dead. What do you have to tell the Liberian people before my fellow panelists come in and ask you questions? You are muted.
Okay. Just to encourage our people to continue to remain hopeful that there will be justice in Liberia eventually. If we had a real government in Liberia, I would not have called Mr. Taylor's name publicly. Instead, I would have gone to government and tell them this is the person. But because the government is so complicit, we chose to act publicly so that we all can watch and see their reaction and what the government will do. Now this is what we have.
And truly they failed.
Yes. But there will be justice in Liberia. It's not going to end there. It is Justice Scott's house. It is Matthew Innes. It is Fambutu. It is Melvin Ellis. It is the other names that were called. I was talking about cases that I've completed investigation with. And then Yinswa. The next time we come, perhaps we'll come and talk about Yinswa's case. So all what we're doing is to let the government know that stop what you're doing. The Bible says whatever is buried will come back. Stop what you're doing. We are watching. People are watching. Because people are quiet doesn't mean they don't know things. And of all the other cases that are outstanding, by the time we open the lines and tell people, bring in your information, we will be flooded with information on what is happening in the country. So let our people be hopeful. There will be justice. And the Chief Justice said it. Because of what happened to her daughter, she knows that there will be justice. I have that same conviction that there will be justice. And that is why you see we are documenting for the future. People will ask, we cannot review all of the information. And this is the point I'd like to emphasize. All we're doing is part of the investigation. It is never conclusive. The final determinations are done in a court of law. They do investigations also, they get findings, and they pass judgment. We are just advocates, we don't pass judgment. We are advocates, we don't punish. All we do is to observe, investigate, and document for tomorrow. Okay. Sometimes we will say what we want to say in public, but we will never say everything in public.
Okay.
Okay, and part of not saying everything, you don't review the names of witnesses. You don't review places that can be destroyed or evidence that can be destroyed or removed, all of that. So we have to preserve everything as it is until we have a credible government that is willing to move forward with these things when more evidence will be presented to them.
Okay. All right. I'll go to Dr. Francine Al-Hussein and good day. And then we'll take, if you have any questions for the council. If not, we'll start the round of closing.
I actually have two questions, one for Sheikh Saka, and then my final question will go to Councilor Fredia. You made a comment about President Weah not being remorse or showing that he is remorse for the deaths of, all of the people that we mentioned here tonight. What makes you think that he's not remorse? He's your friend, you know him. What is it about him that he's portraying right now that makes you to draw that conclusion that he's not remorse about these deaths?
Yeah. If I heard your question, Dr. Francine, you said I made a comment like Mr. Weah is not remorseful, especially for everything that's been happening in Liberia. And Mr. Weah being my friend, and why would I say that he's not remorseful? Dr. Francis, the evidence are there of Mr. Weah's not being remorseful about everything going on in the country. The fact that you have people dying, and then Mr. Weah, instead of him waiting for the investigation, he will go in church. He sits there and he make mockery of it. The first thing is how Mr. Weah is not remorseful. Look at evolving evidence of people who gave him money to sponsor his campaign. We that gave him thousands of dollars bought him vehicle. Mr. Weah cannot sit and even be remorseful that these people they gave me money. If I don't want to have anything to do with them, I think I should just pay them what belongs to them. Mr. Weah is not remorseful. Mr. Weah sees his government officials being sanctioned. 3 of his officials being sanctioned by the US government. That's our traditional partner. Mr. Weah rather goes and play the music, say that political sanction. Don't be surprised. Mr. Weah will soon come out with another music, say that political death. These are some of the things they are glaring that even the blind can see. You understand about Mr. We are not being remorseful about the situations that's happening back into the country. So I mean, based on these glaring fights, I don't even have to speak about it, about how he doesn't care about what's happening in the country.
Thank you. Councillor Verdia, my question to you is, do you know if there is a specific reason why anyone who wants to harm or kill the child of former Chief Justice Gloria Musu-Scott's child, why would any, if there's specific reason? We heard, okay, she was Chief Justice, she has information with the government, she did cases that people may have been unhappy with her findings or her conclusions or her verdict. Are there any one that you know of? We can't hear you, Councillor. Please unmute yourself.
Mute myself, okay. The child was not the target. Okay, that's the divergence in the whole operation. Justice Scott was the target. And to that, we are still trying to understand the motive. I received a memorandum from an ambassador, not a Liberian, giving detailed analysis as to why they think Justice Scott was targeted. And part of it relates to what she has been saying and what she has been doing. I haven't absorbed them yet, so it's not my conclusion as yet, so I wouldn't want to comment on them. But I'm convinced that the state, authorities in the state have reasons to fear her advocacy or the work she does, and for that, they want to punish her or to eliminate her. I did say that Koji wasn't happy, and he had an altercation with the assassin. And he told him, I didn't send you to go and kill a child. You knew there was an obvious target and not the child. If you could not do the work, that's the additional information I gathered just today. That he told him, the first people, when they failed, the second one, they failed. There's nothing wrong with you going and failing. If you could not do the work, you come and tell us, but to go and kill a child, that's not what I sent you for. So it is yet to determine the motives, and our ears are still open, our eyes are still open. If anybody have information, we have received a lot of information from Monrovia on how it was done and who did it. We continue to receive, especially since we put up the vehicle, and there's more information, but the motive, that is a forensic investigation that is needed. And a very deep analysis of the cycle of the people, the cycle of government. The government is apprehensive. The government knows they are about to lose elections, and they are in the process of trying to see how they can avert that and all of that. And I heard, and from the memo I received from this ambassador, she has been very vocal. She condemned the census process and
the referendum.
The referendum also, and she said that she has said opined to important people that elections will be rigged. Okay, and that's something I already know, and I've already up in all of that. So there could be a lot of reasons why, but we are still looking into it.
Thank you.
All right. So, Al, you got any question for counsel before we all wrap up?
I have one question.
Okay, after Al.
I have a question for the two gentlemen, Sako and Alex. Either one of you can answer it. Or you mentioned one Usman. Is it Usmani Bamba you are talking about? The Ivorian special advisor to the president? Was that the person you were mentioning?
You don't have Sheikh's attention.
All right. So maybe let me answer that question, right?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a follow-up. I just want clarity. I just wanted clarity to that whether it was Usmani Bamba. Then my main question is this. Was that
go ahead? No,
was that
Ishmael, the money that he's talking about that he didn't give it to Usman Bamba. He gave it to Ishmael too. Maybe he was making mistake. But of course, Usman Bamba is the boss of Ishmael too.
Let me just buttress what Mr. Alex is trying to say, right? Mr. Fadiga, Ishmael is the IT guy from Burkina Faso who worked with the cyber team of CDC. And then Usman Bamba, he's one of the chief strategists of the 2017 elections, who also from Ivory Coast. But I think currently he's, I don't know what position he's serving in the Ouattara's government. But the last time I saw him on the video was when Mr. Weah just visited Ivory Coast, and he was lined up, having a handshake.
So let me go to my question, because Usmani Bamba, I remember a couple of years ago, he had so many fraud cases against him to the point of $9 billion. I think he defrauded another company, but I will leave that for another day. But you guys keep mentioning about the Russian money. Someone that just came on Spoon Talk today. We need some specific. These are demi allegations against the government, and we do not just want to keep saying the Russians are coming. The Russians are coming. This is not the first time we've been introduced to Russians. No, I just want to pick a brain a little. Even during the Chancellor era, we saw Exotic and all these in Liberia. But what I want you guys to just give us, even if you come back, some specific. How much are we talking about? On what ground did you guys give, the Russian gave the CDC this money, and what were they expecting in return?
I tell you what, if we can get
Mr. Fadiga, let me just come in, Mr. Fadiga. I think if you listen, because of time, we don't actually have time to go into this right now. It's a long story, but I just want to tell you, go on the Costa show, or I will send you the link, Fadiga. You at least will have to get a little bit idea about the story, because we were very brief and comprehensive in letting out what we wanted to let out there. You understand, to the public. But like we said, right now the issue has been elevated to another level, so we don't want to keep wasting our time of getting on our platform discussing it. But I think when you go to the Costa show on that particular day, you're definitely going to hear our explanation about this Russian money, what their intentions were.
Thank you very much.
The issue of Usman Bamba you talk about, or there was a fraud case of $9 billion CFA. We explain all of those things, the reason why the Russians did not give more than $2 million. He said they requested for $6 million, but because Bamba was Mr. Weah was accompanied by Mr. Bamba, and they have done a background check that Bamba had a criminal record, they would have only raised that amount of $2 million plus the $200,000 they spent on public relations. So go back to the story, because we don't want to come back on other platforms we're discussing. Those other information
I
we
don't
let
listen
out
to
there that are
Costa
not for the
show,
public,
so
and
yeah.
we speak them on. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Folks, if you're listening, let me just make this announcement. On Tuesday, the CEO will make a very big announcement right on this platform. And hopefully, if we have more information coming in, we might have the council back. Monday, it promises to be another big one. I have picture of a guy called Seyon Mo from LRA that disappeared 2 years ago. And the information is that he was buried alive. We will be coming back. And let me say this as we close. The CEO on Tuesday will make an appearance on this platform with a very big announcement. Having said that, we'll give our guest the honor.
Can I ask him one question?
Oh, okay, yes, because if you don't ask him tonight, y'all start speaking Loma again, you and Shaq, and I don't understand that thing. And don't ask your question in Loma.
If I'm gonna ask in Loma.
Ask in Loma.
Loma will, man.
You man of my God, Loma go also.
Okay.
That's offensive. I want to laugh at me.
You know, the most interesting thing about me is that I do speak my dad and my mom's dialects very well. That's the whole thing, and I love that. Loma Madingo, I'm good.
You speak French?
Very well.
Councilor Vradia, the last time you appeared, you said the late Enos report was prepared and you guys were about to release it. When this report will be out, I'm talking about your private investigation, when the report is going to be out so Liberians can really get detail of what really happened.
The last time I spoke of not Ines. It was Yinswa. I said Yinswa report was ready, and it wouldn't be published in the newspaper, but institutions like yours will receive a copy, and it wouldn't be too different from what we are seeing, but it would just be more detailed. We look forward to coming and maybe throwing more light on it. And I don't know if the show is over, but I like to sound a caveat that receiving foreign funding for an election is a crime in Liberia. It's a violation of elections law.
Yeah.
And it's a basis to illegitimate Mr. Weah's government or Mr. Weah's win. And it could be a basis for even barring the CDC or Mr. Weah from taking part in further elections. Those are very, very serious, and we do take it seriously. It's a violation of our law, and it tells you strictly that elections were rigged. That's why all along, I've known all along myself, I've been saying the so-called president, because I never recognized him as a president, because the elections was rigged. In all my discussion analysis, I failed to point to those election results because I know that they were manufactured, they were doctored to make Mr. Weah look like a winner. They distributed from statistics, they distributed the polling results in a way, just as you see they are doing the census. But our country is good and God is great. Nothing that is hidden will remain buried forever. There's a time and a season for everything. And good day, pretty soon that report will be up. And we are going to give copy to the government and demand an investigation, independent investigation, We will serve the international community capis. And if government is serious, they will ask the international community to assist them in launching an independent and credible investigation. Thank you.
Mr. Bako, can I just play this video before the councillor?
Yeah, before you play that, I'd like for Liberians to know that Councillor Verdier is referring to Article 82B. I repeat, Article 82B. No political party or organization may hold or possess any funds or other assets outside of Liberia, nor may they or any independent candidates retain any funds or assets remitted or sent to them from outside Liberia, unless then it continues. So that closes it up. You have the Constitution and what it says. Before we wrap up, I know that video you want to play. And because I know it, when we play it, some people start crying, I'm not calling her name. You know, when you want Gaza, you say, I'm not calling her name. Somebody will say, well, how many women on the panel? But I'm not calling her name. James, hold that video.
Let's play the last one. Can we play
get the closing, James. Let me the show fire. To say in your closing, at least 2 minutes.
Oh,
Sheikh Sakor, can you close up at least 1 to 2 minutes, please?
Let me just unmute myself. All right, thank you very much. It was a great time on your platform, and I hope in subsequent time we will be able to come over to discuss some other issues. But I just want to say this and to the Liberian people. We don't understand what's going on in Liberia today. And I want to say this to the world. Liberians are dying. Liberians are suffering. Liberians are going through a lot. The only thing that exempted Liberians today from the civil crisis, it is indeed because there's no gunfire. People are dying. But I want to say this to people who are into the law enforcement sector, whether the director of the police or the defense minister. You guys have a responsibility. The responsibility is to stand up or man up now to Mr. Weah and tell him that Mr. Weah, a lot of things has to be done to maintain the peace in this country. You guys don't forget. I will just give you a brief and comprehensive history of the establishment of the war of the special court in Sierra Leone. Inga Noma was indicted as the defense minister of the Sierra Leone army, while the president, who was the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Sierra Leone, was exonerated. Why? Because under the defense minister's watch, a civil defense full court, the Kamajo, was formed, and they committed atrocities. The director of police, you sat there. General Power came out to the public. He said he will form a crew defense force. Those insinuous statements, whether it was in Mr. Weah's defense or not, the fact that he formed or he decided to form a unit to undermine a constitutionally functioning authority. Former general sat there. They called upon a sitting lawmaker to report to them under their command. Nothing was done. Those things are recorded. Mr. Weah, we are coming up here speaking today. We're not afraid. I will say this. I'm not afraid. You know me. I don't fear anything. But Mr. Weah, you got the responsibility. And your responsibility is now. You got to put everything behind you and solve the Liberian people justice.
Got one more minute.
All I can say, everybody will not die. People will live to say the truth. People will live to be witnesses. And Liberians will live to have a better life and see justice prevail. You all here will be surprised when a government that believes in the justice system comes in that country. People within that government that we talk to on a daily basis will stand up as witnesses. Liberians will be surprised. The world will be surprised. Because some of us, we've lived a fair life and we have always fostered the positive emotions, or cycle of positive emotions among people. Reasons why we sit in our corner and we know everything. But I want to say, Mr. President, you have a responsibility. Whether you like it or not, justice will be served one day. Peace out to my Liberian people. Let's keep praying for Liberia. We know what we are going through, but God will save that nation. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, if our guest wants to stay with us, we'll appreciate it, because the only lady, out of respect, you're going to be on for Dr. Francine to do her closing. Doc, I wanted to go to the other two gentlemen, but you always say 6 o'clock. So 6:45. I won't let you go first, because the way you dress, I don't know. But you can tell I will stay accepted.
I'll tell you nothing. I'm telling you nothing.
Anna, I see what the American children can say. When you say you're not doing your work, the children can say, what's she talking?
That's true. I got a house full of them. But I want to thank you, Honorable Fakon, for conducting this show today. You are very knowledgeable about the killings in Liberia. And as we say, this is your area when it comes to that. And I, as a competent person, we should model, when it is your area, you give respect to the person to carry on with the area. And that's actually what we need to practice in our country. I want to also tell Cheikh Sarkor, thank you for being here. I actually would love for you to come back, because you have a lot of information that I think 10-15 minutes is not good enough for me. I like to be very involved and like to digest the information that's presented. Councilor Freddie,
and I pray I'll be comfortably seated at home by that time, well relaxed in my living room, and I'll be able to explain better and not under tension or pressure from the truck.
Thank you. Actually, you showing us that labor is dignity. So you in your work gear is just as fine. We appreciate it.
Millionaire.
Taking time from your job to be here, we appreciate it. And thank you also, Councilor Vredia, for being here, sharing information to us. We appreciate it. Thank you for being able to dissect the information. I'm sure with time you'll be able to present and illuminate the evidence to us, because a lot of Liberians are interested in that. I also want to thank Sam, who was on the phone earlier. I tell him to take courage for his father. I like the position that he has. He's going to fight for his father's rights, and that's very courageous of him. Again, we'll continue to speak about the Chief Justice Gloria Scott's situation here. We want to just bring this to light. The killing of Liberians to light is very important, because the death of one Liberian is traumatizing to many. It causes a Liberian to exist as opposed to live. We want Liberian to live as opposed to just existing. So at this point, I would just say thank you to everybody for being on the show. We appreciate you. We'll start another show. Audience, you'll come back again. We'll have another show where we'll definitely be talking about this information again. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dad.
Let's go to Al.
Well, thank you, guys. It was a great show. I enjoy listening to all you guys. But mostly what I want to say is we keep hearing say we need to protect the peace. And every time I hear that, I cringe, because we are doing everything to not protect our fragile peace. When you look around Liberia and you see mysterious death, tribalization of the country, the same makeup, everything that led to the war. Start going to the southeast, people start pitting people against one another. and suffering, hardship on our people, uncertainty. These are things that bring chaos. And the more we speak about these things, the more we talk about it and bring it to light. I think that's the best we can do, and encourage our people, educate them that the solution is in October. It's just a few months from now. You have that decision to make. So if my dad used to always say, today's decision is tomorrow reality. So if you would take rights today and suffer for the next 6 years, that would be your decision to make. But we are seeing everything that led up to the Civil War. So by you saying in Jesus' name this will not happen, or we ban it in Jesus' name, that doesn't cut it. We need to actually accountable. And I think this is where the opposition, this is where everyone, meaning well-intentioned Liberians, should come in and say enough. Because I think the president have a real free route for the last 6 years, and he's emboldened. He doesn't feel any need to change anything. So I will close on that and look forward to more of these exchanges.
Well, Alex, quickly, 1 minute.
Yeah, 2 days ago, I listened to Dr. Paul Inishi. He's the owner or the head of the biggest church now in Nigeria. And he was saying basically that government is tied to our life and our survival. Whether you are a clergyman or whether you whoever. And so we must speak out and we must add our voices. Because when good men do not speak, they give rise to evil men to thrive. And so because of that, I thought it was that going forward, I will have my voices heard. And they will be heard louder and truthfully. And this is why I again will want to apologize to the Liberian people for my personal role in ensuring that President Weah became president. Because whether I did it honestly, but the end result has proven to be that it wasn't a good venture. And so whether you have good intention, but if the end result is not good, you must be held liable for it. And so personally, I ask for forgiveness from the Liberian people. I apologize for my role, but I can say this for a fact to folks who are involved in whatever killing that they are involved in, that people are monitoring you. Some of us, because we wanted to maintain our professional stand, and we knew obviously we were not safe, we had to align with internationally reputable agencies who are gathering intelligence to ensure our safety and our protection. That's why we know what we know. Whether you are kidding Batin Yensua for the audit report of the APM terminal, whether you are kidding him for the COVID-19 fund audit, whether you are kidding him for the consolidated report, trust me, all of these information are already in the hands of our foreign friends. And so those killings that you are doing with the hope and the intention that you are destroying evidence, these things are not going to come out now. But trust me, our foreign friends and security intelligence have these pieces of information, and you will pay for them. Whether it would be 5 years, whether it will be 10 years, whether it will be 50 years, you will pay for them. So stop. There's too much bloodshed in our country, and we don't deserve it as a people and as a nation.
Thank you very much. As we get ready to leave, we're going to play the video one more time. And before we play that video, let me say in my final closing, thank you, Councillor Verdier, for coming. Thank you, Sheikh Sakor. Let me be honest with you guys. Since the CEO, who is the master of the microphone on this platform, left, tonight we broke the record, and the record was broken with the presence of the two of you. We hit almost 7,000 views straight off the back. And I want to say thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Alex. We look forward to Monday. Hussein, you will be back here. All of you guys will be back here. And I want to say to President Weah, and especially Jefferson Koji, in my closing to you, Jeff, this one even the blind man can see. Councilor Friday came here and told you, this is the perpetrator. He is your deputy for operation. His name is this, and this is what he has done. We showed him with his gun. We showed him with everything. On the Friday, you had a press conference. You were asked, and you say you're not comfortable. Produce the man, you say no. You didn't want to say anything. We have not seen the man. Last night, around 1 o'clock in the morning, you picked him up and left for Nimba under the disguise of going to meet elders and hold a town engagement when you know you were taking him to Ganta to cross the border. Why did you leave at 1 a.m.? We also have people that would testify not only to phone calls, but to your departure. Jefferson Koji, may I say this to you, stop. It's over now. There's no need for it. You cannot run anymore. The evidences are overwhelming. The pickup truck used to kill Ines has been discovered. The owner of it is right here. The Valley Teleman is now linked to the owner of the pickup. The Valley Teleman, Sheikh knows him even better than you. You took him from under the wing of Sheikh, and his records are clear. Now we know what is what. Good day. Can you play the video as we say good night to Liberian people, and a big thank you for showing up. We'll be back on Monday, and on Tuesday, the CEO will make his appearance. Don't forget, there was a guy who went missing from the LRA, Seyon Mo, and for 2 years, he's been gone. We're receiving information that he was buried alive. We now have pictures of him. We say good night, good day, bring the video back up.
Aaron, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah,
James.
go ahead and end the show, bro.
Okay, so folks, thanks for following. This was very revealing, and lots of things was said on this edition of the program. Tomorrow will be here with another edition of the program. Tomorrow is Sunday, right? James, it's Monday. Monday with another edition.
It's gonna be on Monday.
Okay, so bye-bye for my end.